You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Good evening and welcome to the Goggin Ice Center in Oxford, Ohio. I'm Salzarulo. I'll be doing your pre-show for tonight's matchup. The two contenders for tonight are the Miami RedHawks and number 19, Colorado College. Miami is back home after winning the Friendship 4 championship in Northern Ireland a few weeks ago and losing in a sweep for number 6 Denver Pioneers last weekend. It is the tail end of finals week here at Miami. It is dead. Everyone's back home. Not even the band is here, but I'm an Oxford local, so this is my home. So it's a quick commute to Goggin, but I don't know why. Parking was a pain tonight. Hopefully it will be better tomorrow. Miami's coming into this matchup with a 10-6 overall record and a conference record of 2-6. Not the best for Miami, however. We are doing way better than we were last year. Colorado College is coming into this with an 8-7-1 and a 2-5-1 for overall and conference records, respectively. Last matchup, first time Miami plays Colorado College at home since 2023. Miami's on a 7-game losing streak against Colorado. Will that streak break tonight? Only time will tell. Starting lineups for Miami. You know them, you love them. It's always the first line, Coach Adelek, Ilya Morozov, and Mateo Giampa. These guys have some of the best chemistry on the RedHawks team, and they've almost always been the first line. In defense, we have Kyle O'Coin and Michael Fellon. These two, a mighty pair when it comes to defense. And as always, in net, Mateo Drobak, a player who has been in net every single game for every single minute this season so far. For Colorado College, for forwards, for the first line, we got Thomas Mriz, Klavs Weinberg, Gavin Lindberg, and for the defense, Fisher Scott, Colton Roberts, and in goal, their captain, Caden Rebecco. Storylines for Miami, freshman goaltender Shika Gadashev. After months of back and forth between Miami and the NCAA, he has been deemed ineligible for D1 college hockey. He will pursue other hockey opportunities outside of Miami. Colorado College is naturally ranked. A few weeks ago, last time they played, they split the series against number 16 Providence, and right before that, they got an overtime winner against number 5 Minnesota Duluth. Quite a dominant force on and off the ice. I can't wait to see tonight's matchup. Miami has raised a trophy for the first time in 10 years after winning the Friendship 4 championship in Northern Ireland. Last championship they won was a 2015 Frozen 4. That was back during the Blasi era. We are on our second coach since 2015. Now we are in the new Noreen era. Relatively new era starting last year, but I'm happy with how it's been so far. Some key plays for Miami tonight. Miami, as always, needs to stay out of the box. They did a pretty good job last weekend against Denver, but the least amount of penalties possible for Miami will greatly benefit them in the future. They got to stay on offense and avoid turnovers, which I feel like happens a lot with Miami, specifically in the offensive zone. When it comes to defense, they're actually pretty decent at avoiding turnovers, but it does happen. I mean, it's hockey. Some players to watch. Mateo Giampa, he is leading the RedHawks with 9 goals, with 6 in the last 6 games. So a goal per game the last 6 games. Will he keep this up? Only time will tell. Vladislav Lukashevich is leading Miami in assists. Owen Beckner of Colorado College is leading Colorado points, assists, and is tied for goals with 6 goals, 13 assists for a total of 19 points. He is going to face in the 2025 Spangler Cup. He's one of a few college players to be playing in the Spangler Cup this season. Now, Milson Bjork for Colorado has been selected for Team Sweden's World Juniors team. Quite an accomplishment. Congratulations to him. Now tonight in the NCHC, we got a full list of games tonight. I'm super excited. It's going to be a great night for hockey. Denver is at St. Cloud State. Omaha is at North Dakota. And Arizona State's at Minnesota Duluth. So quite a jam-packed full for the NCHC here. All conference games. So I'm excited to see how this will turn out. Turning it over, later tonight you will hear for the first period with play-by-play by Lucas Poley and color commentary by Gavin Stark. I have been Will Salzarulo, and this has been your pre-show show. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio.
It's the return home for the Miami RedHawks after an extended journey. The RedHawks logged a lot of air miles over the last couple weeks, going to Belfast, Northern Ireland, followed by Denver last weekend. And Miami is back home for the first time since November 22nd for another NCHC series as the RedHawks take on the 19th ranked Colorado College Tigers here at Cady Arena. Alongside Gavin Stark, Luke Poley with you. Big news out of Miami hockey earlier this week after a long battle with the NCAA. Unfortunately, the RedHawks have given up on it. Chika Gadjev no longer with the team following a whole host of issues with his eligibility. The RedHawks tried to get him to take an equivalency test overseas, which he passed. Miami thought at their home opening game against Ferris State that he would play. They were alerted just hours before that there had been a bump in the road in his eligibility, and it lasted for months. And finally, when the RedHawks thought they were going to get things figured out over the last couple of weeks, the NCAA continued to not respond to their requests, and as a result, after some conversations between the staff and Gadjev and some third parties, they ultimately decided for the betterment of his career that he should move on and pursue other opportunities. The coaching staff was incredibly frustrated very publicly with the NCAA with how the situation played out, but instead it has now led to an unprecedented situation as Miami has made a call to the CHL in the middle of the season as the RedHawks have snagged a third goalie out of the QMJHL. And that goaltender, Matis Langevin, coming from the Rimouski Oceanic, where he made a run all the way to the Memorial Cup last year and had one of the better playoff goaltending performances in the CHL last season. Struggled a little bit this year, deduced to a backup role. There was some rumors in Canadian junior circles that he would be traded, and instead he has been moved to the NCAA, ultimately making the jump. And again, an unprecedented move in the first year that CHL players are allowed to play college hockey. He is the first player that has made the move mid-season. We are still in the first semester, and believe it or not, the modern NCAA academics somehow still do matter. And so because of that, he is ineligible to play this weekend as the first semester has not come to an end yet, but will be eligible the next time the RedHawks take the ice in 2 weekends when they head to the Great Lakes Invitational on December 28th and 29th. So for now, it's still Mateo Drobak for Miami in the net, and he will face off against one of the NCHC's most veteran goaltenders with over 100 games under his belt on the other side, and Caden Mberico. More on the goaltending matchup in just a moment. For now, we'll toss it off to Scott Schreiber in public address as the RedHawks finish up their lineup announcements. National anthem and puck drop on the way here from Cady Arena between Miami and 19th ranked Colorado College. Stay tuned. Miami and Colorado College set to go at it. The RedHawks enter 10-6, 2-6 in the NCHC. Colorado College 8-7-1, 2-5-1 in the conference. As CC's coming off a split with the Providence Friars, and Miami is coming off of a sweep at the hands of Denver last week. Starting goaltenders for Colorado College, it's Cady and Mbarico. In a rare move, Chris Mayo puts the C on his goaltender's jersey. Mbarico has terrorized NCHC teams for his entire career, now into his senior season as a fourth-year starter at Colorado College. 5'11", 185-pound senior out of Aspen, Colorado, and a product of the Lincoln Stars in the USHL. This is his 114th career game played for the Tigers, 16th this year. He carries an 8-6-1 record, 2.32 goals against average, and a .916 save percentage. Again, on the other side for Miami, it's Mateo Drobak again. He's played every minute of every game for the RedHawks this year. This is start number 17 for the sophomore from Oakville, Ontario. A 10-6 win-loss record, 3.13 goals against average, and an even .900 save percentage. Sterling Egan and Nolan Bloyer are our referees tonight. Matthew Heinen works the lines along with Eric Spirit Fingers Frank. RedHawks are in the white jerseys with white helmets, red gloves, red pants, and white socks. Colorado College with a clean look here on the road. The yellow tiger on the front with all black uniforms, yellow trim and yellow numbers along the back. RedHawks go right to left. Colorado College left to right. Face-off put down, and we are underway as Miami chips it into the offensive end. And the puck comes out to neutral ice. Settle back and enjoy this one. Bit of a sparse crowd in attendance as the students have mostly made their way out of town for winter break. And the final home game for Miami until January 16th. The spring the other way and a breakaway going down the center. One shot comes in from Gavin Lindberg. That's saved. And then Klavs Weinbergs with the follow. And Drobak turned both aside as Coach Adelic guides it out to center for Miami. Down the right wing, Weinbergs dishes it back his defense's way, and it's run down behind the CC net by Mercick. Mercick then flings it across the ice for Roberts, who taps it along past the center red, where it's directed into the offensive end by Braden Sherman. Sherman pushes it up against the end wall, wraps it to the far side where Ryan Coring throws it intentionally wide. Puck ricochets in the direction of the net, but it is safely guided out of the zone from there by the RedHawks. And down the left wing, a tire blown by Ryan Smith as Miami holds the zone. Around the net to the far side goes Seth Constance. Transfer from Northeastern, plays it out to neutral ice where both teams go for changes, and now Miami backs into their own end. Kyle LeCoyne surveys and throws it forward. Doug Grimes tips it into the offensive zone, and Mbarico paddles it along the wall up the far side. Puck ping-pongs back below the goal line where it's played up the near half wall for Brett Link. The leading all-time goal scorer on this current roster for Colorado College as it's tipped into the offensive zone by Connor Vinson. CC goes to work on the forecheck and Link steals it away, but he misconnected on a pass. And that requires another steal now as Vinson gives back for Link top of the right circle, and he snapped one on. Drobak makes the save and holds with 18:10 to go in the first period. Shots on goal, 3-0 in favor of Colorado College, but we have no score.
Yeah, Colorado College, 5th in the country right now with 573 shots on goal, and they're already getting active on that with 3 tonight in just under 2 minutes.
Miami hasn't seen a ton of volume shooting teams this year like this Colorado College squad, so interested to see how Mateo Drobak and the RedHawks will handle it. Offensive zone face-off for the fourth line for Colorado College, and the face-off is won by Riley Stewart. It's pushed behind the goal by Mann, and the RedHawks get onto it as Ethan Hay chips it up the boards, and it's picked up and brought across center ice by Bradley Walker. Walker tugged off the puck by Stunari. It's backed up by Colorado College and Mateo Mann. Draft choice of the Philadelphia Flyers plays it to the far side. Lukashevich cuts off the pass near center, but the RedHawks got delayed at the blue line and could not enter. Forced to regroup. It's dumped in by Thompson for Miami. As Bradley Walker tips it in, and the RedHawks go for a change. Stunari couldn't handle a pass through the middle of the ice, and the RedHawks just push it back towards CC as it's backed up into his own end by Colton Roberts. Freshman and draft choice of the San Jose Sharks. Roberts goes D to D, now gets a return feed in the near corner, goes back around to the far side for Fisher Scott. Scott, the Colorado native, goes up the far wall, climbs as far as the blue line, chips it just out of the zone, but the RedHawks take it from him there, and Mateo Giampa banks it into the offensive zone for Miami as the top line is back out. Lindbergh clears it up the near boards. Two players pursuing for Colorado College, but Michael Phelan gets there first. He turned it over, though, and now Lindbergh down the middle was poke-checked by a coin right as he tried to pull the trigger on a shot. And it harmlessly rolls wide as the RedHawks break it out. And up the far wall goes Max Helgeson. He cuts across center, chips it ahead, races towards the net front. But he's checked wide, and now it's Giampa in the far corner. Up to the right point, Owen Lalonde wrists one intentionally wide, looking for a tip. None came, and now McEwen pinches down to provide some pressure for Miami. Mercick almost turned it over on the near half wall for Colorado College. Instead, he pokes it to the far boards where Coring wraps it back to the near side. Lindbergh chops it along the wall. Puck gets out to center, but Mercick is bumped off of it. And now David Deputy leaves the puck near the center ice M for Sean McEwen. He crosses the red and dumps it in. Directed into the corner by Mbarico. Deputy forechecking for Miami, along with Ryan Smith. Sherman, though, gets it through center, and he pokes it out to the middle of the ice, where Alexander tries to flutter it in. It's gloved down by Thompson just inside Miami's defensive blue, and the RedHawks force it the other way. Dragged through traffic and stolen away by Colorado College. It's Colton Roberts surveying. He goes up the near side where it's tipped into the offensive zone by Brandon Lazowski, the freshman and draft pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs. One-on-one battle along the near hashes. Now second player arrives for both teams, and Doug Grimes plays it to the middle for Miami. Puck comes back up the wall where Stupka skates it out to center, and now Grimes twists it to the far side. Dumped into the offensive end by Michael Quinn as Miami finishes up the change. Sherman along the near side, forced to the near wall, bracketed by three RedHawks, and they almost stole it away, but now the puck just skitters to Roberts, who reverses ice to the far side. Lob wedge taken out as it's chipped past center, and Colorado College now goes for a change. Casper Nossen chips it into the offensive zone as we cross the 5-minute mark. Not a whole lot going on right now between these two teams. Ethan Hay grabs it at neutral ice, and again, just flung back in for Miami, who goes to work on the forecheck. Bradley Walker chasing after it. Philip Blaise Savoy goes up the near side where Link tips it through center. Wilson Bjork drives down the right side, stops at the hashes, cuts to the middle of the ice, turns and shoots. That's blocked by Thompson, comes right back to him, and now another shot by Bjork. Whistles high and wide. Man from the right point, finds Bjork down the middle. He lost possession of the puck, but now it is tipped to the far corner where it's run down for Colorado College by Blaise Savoy. He forced it in front of the net. There were four RedHawks there. And they get it back to the corner where it's safe for now. Colorado College with a quick steal, but they try to go up to the point, and their D-man, Blaise Savoy, was changing, so the puck leaks out of the zone. On the regroup, Link lost it right as he crossed the blue line, and Miami sends it back CC's way. 6 minutes gone by first period. We've got no score. Down the left side goes Ryan Coring. He steps left around the hashes, threw it in front. It's tipped behind the goal cage by Sean McEwen. And now Giampa skates it the other way for Miami. Giampa banks it off the wall into the offensive end. Forced in further by the RedHawks and Ilya Morozov. Coach Adelik wraps it around the wall. Morozov now runs it down on the left point. Looked to reverse ice for Lalonde, but his angle was off, and he threw it back into the neutral zone where Lalonde plays it in. And the RedHawks did not tag up before going back in on the forecheck. Coach Adelik never vacated the zone. And it's blown dead for offside with 13:31 left in the first period. And a center ice draw coming up with no score. Not a lot of whistles, but not a ton of action. A lot of dump and chase hockey going on right now, and neither team has had tremendous success off the forecheck. Face-off win by the RedHawks. Kyle Aucoin, the Harvard transfer, dumps it into the offensive zone for Miami. Scott skates it to the far side, fanned on the pass, still found the target as Alexander puts it through the middle of the ice. Missed his man, though, aiming for Sherman, and the RedHawks regroup back with it. Miami, though, again coughs it up, and now it's Sherman down the left wing. Plays patty cake with Alexander, and now Sherman has it back down the left side, but Aucoin picks his pocket. And now Phelan just softly touches it up the near wall where Miami cannot clear as Roberts had it sealed. Back behind the net, Aucoin gains some space with an escape move, stretches the ice down the left wing for Smith, who tried to force one in front for Deputy, who was driving. But he was stood up by Roberts, who skates it the other way with speed. Puck tangled up in Roberts' skates off a forecheck as he crosses into the offensive zone, and now Miami goes the other way. Lukashevich enters the zone down the left wing, cuts to the middle and shoots. Save made with two hands by Iberico. Back up the near wall it comes. Lukashevich just blindly throws it across the ice. Nobody at the net front for Miami, and Blaise Savoy throws it to center. It was tipped out of the air by Bjork to surely negate the icing, and now it comes back Colorado College's way, where they regroup in their own defensive zone. Cross-ice pass finds Link on the right wing, but it hit him in the skate, and that takes it all the way into the offensive zone, where now he works against McEwen. McEwen pasted along the near wall, but took the puck with him in his skates, and he finds Nassen down the right wing, who skates it to center. Nassen goes diagonally across the M, finds McEwen. He enters the zone. He entered late as Nassen still had his momentum forward, and he was a step ahead. The RedHawks are in offside, and that brings us to a media timeout. 12:03 to go, opening period. And not a whole lot of team hockey being played. We've got no score here at Cady Arena, and we will step aside. Again, 0-0 between Miami and Colorado College in game 1 of 2 this weekend. And we're back to Oxford after this. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. .12:03 remaining, opening period. No score between Miami and Colorado College. First and only time these teams will meet this year. Neutral ice draw coming up on the near side of the ice. It's been a pretty low event first period so far. 12:03 remaining in it.
Yeah, both teams looking just to still settle into this game as we had entered the first timeout here in Cady Arena.
The Hawks bring out the fourth line of Mike and Hay and Walker, and Hay was a little bit hasty on the draw. It's against the fourth line of Colorado College as well. Both teams have rolled their lines pretty liberally so far. Finally, the puck put down on the ice, and the face-off is won by Bradley Walker, who came in to take the draw for Miami. And the RedHawks dump it into the offensive zone. Hay turns around and throws it off the end boards. Puck pops up in the air, bottom of the left circle. One swipe at it for Mikan, but he swung and missed. And now the puck comes up the wall where McEwen just wasn't ready for the pass. It goes by him and all the way down the ice. A lot of missed passes. Defenses have had trouble so far holding the offensive zone. As Owen Lalonde skates it down the right wing, his diagonal pass got cut off before it reached Nick Mikan. Was skated up briefly by Nick Baer, the extra skater for CC, but he turned it over. Brought back into the offensive end by Mikan. Bayer now picks his pocket in the near corner, trying to rim it up the wall, but Thompson pinched down to keep it in for Miami. Now it's Mercick below the goal line for Colorado College. It's Mateo Mercick, brother of Tomas. Two freshmen from Surrey, British Columbia, working against the end wall. Mercick is just poking and poking away, but the puck is locked up in a pair of skates right now. Referees are letting him play, and finally the puck springs free up the near wall, where it was grabbed for a second by Stenari. He got locked up by Giampa, but reinforcements arrived and CC clears. Miami gets it back into the offensive zone quickly. Giampa got checked from behind and couldn't drive the front of the net. And now the puck flies to Scott on the far boards, who cannot clear. Lukashevich, though, in his attempt to hold the zone, had the puck roll up on edge, and it hit the backup goalie, Jackson Unger, in the blocker on the CC bench. So we've got a whistle with 10:34 remaining in the first period. Faceoff stays in Miami's offensive zone on the right wing as they bring the top line out. Morozov, Giampa, and Delic. face-off win for Colorado College by Clavs Weinbergs, who's one of the best face-off men in the entire country, and it's cleared out by CC. He tries to dump it right back in, but Giampa partially fanned on it, and it's just cleared right back where it came from by Colorado College. Now Weinbergs has it out at center. He brings it back for Constance. Now Ryan Coring dumps it into the offensive zone. Puck took a hard carom off the end boards and came out in front, but a coin was there for Miami to grab it and sauce it up the far side. Giampa gloves it down and now has a step down the left wing. He's closed off, though, by Coring and is pushed into the near corner. Reversed quickly to the far point where Phelan shoots it intentionally wide. Puck comes to the near boards where McEwen taps it in deep, and Delic tracks it in the far corner. It comes to Phelan up on the point, and he did not hold the zone. Really not pressured either. Just backed the puck out by an inch or two and brought it back in offside. And this has just been a confused 10 minutes and 15 seconds of hockey so far. Still no score between Miami and Colorado College, but a smaller crowd, not a ton of energy in the building, and just not a ton of execution right now on either side.
Yeah, this offense struggled last Friday, too, at Denver, scoring 0 goals, and the struggles have carried back over to Oxford now.
Really slow start for Miami in that Denver series. Maybe a little bit to be expected with the pretty aggressive travel that they had to deal with. As the puck is brought into the offensive zone by Colorado College, but they miss on a pass and has to be regrouped back in his own zone by Colton Roberts. Roberts up the near wall, finds Ryan Alexander, the Arizona State transfer, bumped off the puck. Sherman was there for Colorado College to get the loose puck and swept it into the offensive zone, but it was taken by Miami. Attempted to go the other way, but now a steal and a 2-on-2 with plenty of speed. A drag and a shot down the left side by Lazowski is patted away by Mateo Drobak, and now Miami brings it through center as it is brought into the offensive zone by Helgeson. He shoots and scores! Helgeson was just twisting and turning through traffic cones and kind of just dragged and shot that puck from an awkward angle, and he hit 2 posts and it found its way in. A snipe by Max Helgeson, and maybe that'll invigorate the RedHawks a little bit as he picks up his 8th goal of the year, good enough for second on the team. And Miami takes a 1-0 lead with 8:58 to go in the opening period.
Yeah, and it was right in a spot where I was thinking to myself, this team's really struggling to even just handle the puck, let alone their passing abilities, and then Helgeson makes an unbelievable shot there.
Just an individual effort. Colorado College kind of backed off on him, and that was an uncharacteristic play for Caden Mberico, who, as an undersized goalie, is normally very good off the first shot with his hands and just missed one. Not much of a screen to speak of. But Miami takes a 1-0 lead. Now the Tigers go the other way, and Bjork with a shot through traffic. That rolled wide. It's picked up in the far corner by Bradley Walker, and he grabs it and throws it down the ice. It's going. It is just wide. And tagged up by Blaise Savoy for icing on the RedHawks with 8:36 to go in the first period. Goal to Helgeson unassisted at 11:02 of the first period, and Miami leads it 1-0 as the faceoff backs up into the RedHawks defensive end. It'll be taken to Mateo Drobak's left.
Not a full crowd tonight, obviously, here in Cady Arena, but you're starting to feel some of the energy that they're bringing after that goal from Helgeson.
Certainly a more spirited minute or so since the goal, as the faceoff is won by Colorado College, and it's held in on the left point by Fisher Scott, who dumps it in deep. They tried to spin it out in front quickly, but Stewart had his attempt thwarted, and the RedHawks lift it back to center. Roberts skates it down the right wing, crosses the red, and delivers a cross-corner dump. Coach Adelic breaks it out expertly, though, for Miami, as it's picked up and just thrown down the ice, though, by the RedHawks. And it looked like that was Kyle Lecoyne there trying to have a flip pass that he just missed on, got way too much of it, and he iced it with 8:12 to go in the first. Face off to Drobak's right. Colorado College in the black uniforms going left to right. Miami going right to left in the whites. Top line out there, and Clavs Weinbergs, the Latvia native and another product of the Lincoln Stars organization in the USHL, on to take the draw against Miami's Ethan Hay, and Weinbergs wins it. Down the left side, a shot sent in on the ice by Coring is blocked wide. Now Coach Adelic individually skates it out through center. and Haig kind of got tangled up away from the puck. Has some words for Weinbergs as he heads off. Delic stripped to the puck. CC dumps it back in. Lindbergh down the right wing, wraps it around to the far side for Weinbergs on the hashes. Skates it below the goal line and connects with Tomas Mercic. Mercic hauled off the puck. And now a coin goes up the left side where his pass is tipped away from Giampa by Lindbergh, but goes all the way down the ice. Not icing though, it was touched by the Tigers. Constance now with a lane down the right wing. He enters the offensive zone for CC, looking for an option down the middle and found it with Mercic. He tips it wide. And now Morozov hits the brakes on the far wing to open up some space as Colorado College finishes out the change and Miami goes through on a regroup. Puck takes a fortuitous deflection and Morozov between the hashes sauces one on. And that's snapped up by Iberico and he hangs on. 7:13 remaining in the first period. Shots even at 4 aside as Miami leads at 1-0 on the Max Helgeson goal. Face-off coming up on the far side of the ice, and Miami brings out the second line, Deputy, Helgeson, and Smith. And Helgeson is technically the center positionally on this line, but Smith takes the draws, and Smith actually is going to get dumped here as he went early, and so Helgeson comes in to take this face-off against Ryan Alexander and the third line for Colorado College. Alexander wins it for the Tigers, and Scott plays it behind the net where there's a ton of room for Roberts to skate it up the near wing. His pass through center deflected away, but now it comes right back to him, and he finds Lazowski, who enters the zone on the right wing, threw it across, and wide open Alexander just couldn't settle it on the wing as the puck is poked up the near wall. And Michael Quinn shovels it out past center where David Deputy races down and arrives to it first. Scott pushes him up against the wall. It's thrown up the boards by Deputy, but McEwen was a little late coming off the bench and could not hold the zone. Lalonde drives it back in for Miami where Smith is on it on the near half wall. He's double teamed and taken off the puck as Sherman throws it up the near boards. It's down and just shy of icing as Lalonde redirects it further along the boards behind the net for McEwen. McEwen threw the pass through the middle off of Nassen's skate. It came back into the zone and was touched up as CC didn't tag up, and officials called that offside. CC's arguing that that came off a RedHawk and that probably should not have been whistled dead, but regardless, it was called, and that brings us to a timeout on the ice. 6:25 remaining in the first period, and Miami has broken the ice. An unassisted goal, an individual effort for Max Helgeson to grab his 8th of the year, and it's 1-0 RedHawks in the late stages of the first. We'll return to Cady Arena after the break. You're listening to Miami Hockey on RedHawk Radio. .6:25 remaining opening period, and Miami leads 19th ranked Colorado College 1-0. Bit of a sleepy first, but Max Helgeson did it himself to get the RedHawks in front. An unassisted goal just past the midway mark has Miami leading. Neutralized draw on the far side. It's won by the RedHawks. And now Miami moves it ahead as Kasper Nassen takes it down the left wing and softly pushes it into the offensive zone. Grimes in on the forecheck for Miami along with Nassen. Puck wrapped up the near wall where Stupka gets pulled off it for Miami, but now Lalonde takes the reverse feed on the far side. The puck just hopped his stick. Defensemen on both sides have had a ton of trouble holding onto the puck today. Miami's still with it as it's Lalonde on the right point, on for McEwen on the left side. Shot through, got tipped in front by Stupka. Iberico makes the save, and now Link just throws the puck across the ice from near to far side. to get it out to the neutral zone, and in trying to bring it up the wing, Ryan Coring had it ride up on him and into the Miami bench. 5:49 to go first period. Still 1-0 Redhawks as they need to get a new puck, and I think this draw will come at center ice. And indeed it will. This Colorado College team loves to shoot the puck a lot. So far, just 4 shots. So in a way, you could say that this has been advantage Miami so far, although it's felt like it's been relatively even thus far. And again, just not a ton of execution happening on either side. And right on cue, CC wins the draw, misses on a pass, and ices it right off the center ice faceoff.
I mean, Colorado came out quick. They had 3 early shot on goals, and then ever since then, you haven't really seen much offensively. They've missed a few shots pretty wide when the goal's even been a little bit open. So some missed opportunities maybe for Colorado, but Miami not playing too much better on the offensive end, but they're sitting here with a 1-0 lead. So
certainly a lot to clear up after the opening 20 minutes. Still 5:41 to go in our first period. Both top lines out there, and Klavs Weinbergs gets a reprimanding from Matthew Heinen before he drops the puck. Face-off win clean by Morozov. A coin with a center point slap shot. Knuckled over top the goal. Now Delic grabs it and gives it up right point for Phelan. He walks the line. A coin now on the left point. Back up top, Phelan. Gives it across as Delic waits, steps to the middle, wrists one through, and right into Mberico. But finally a little bit of movement in the offensive zone. Pretty tight point being played by Colorado College has given Miami's defense some trouble, but they finally moved the puck a little bit and earned an opportunity for Coach Adelic as the Redhawks go for a 5-man change.
You're finally seeing the offense to really work. They're not missing it as many passes as they were missing earlier. They've finally looked like they've settled into this game so far.
5:24 to go in the first, still 1-0 Miami. Redhawks with a face-off win, but it's blown dead. Again, this NCHC officiating crew, they always police draws very, very tightly. That was a point of emphasis from a couple of years ago that has lingered over. They do not let you cheat at all. So they finally get the puck down on the second try. Deputy walks it all the way around the net and throws from a sharp angle. Shoulder save, and Mberico. Now Smith in the near corner gets pasted along the wall. Lukashevich goes D-to-D, and Michael Quinn flutters it in deep. Behind the net, a 2-on-2 battle. It's squirted between the legs of Helgeson. Now he pins it along the wall. He tripped on the puck and kicks it to his skates. He tried to give it up to the point, but threw it right to Sherman, who sauces it across. Constance runs into it in space and dumps it in for Colorado College. Sherman on the right wing. Taps it into the corner. Walk by Lukashevich, trying to force one in front, looking for Alexander. It stopped short. And pushed to the near wall by Lukashevich. Lukashevich now steps by the first defender, spins, finds Helgeson through the middle, and now it's flipped down the ice, and it lands on Deputy's stick, and a 2-on-1. Deputy reverses, waits, shoots, and he's stuffed on the far side. Oh, David Deputy undressed 2 defenders right there, but just could not get a clean shot away as he was stood up. It turned into a mini 2-on-1. Grabbed and cleared in by Colorado College as they go for a change. Miami tries to stretch the ice quickly as they dump it into the offensive zone. Roberts behind his net. Throws it across for Fisher Scott. And he wedges it out to center ice where it came in for a moment, then out. And Bjork brought it back in for Colorado College. They touch up offside with 4:02 to go in the first period, and probably the best opportunity of the period isn't even a goal, as they show on the big board. David Deputy came down the left wing, hit the brakes, and his defender went flying. Had a teammate waiting on the back door, but by then reinforcements had arrived. He tried to be patient and just outweight Mberico, but he would not move in the crease and ended up being stood up in front of the net. Off the face-off win, Miami dumps it into the offensive zone. Link on the breakout, and Mberico stumbled in the net for Colorado College and has had to get his bearings as the play was kind of coming by. I'm not sure if he got contacted or what, but Miami dumps it back in as they finish out the change. Pressure alleviates, and CC breaks it out. Down the right wing goes Link. Jams it into the offensive zone. On the far side, puck battle, and it's pulled out by Miami, and Doug Grimes skates it down the right wing, waits and finds a Coin on the near side. Coin skates it across the center red, but Constance poked him right as he dumped it in. And The puck goes flying and hits the very top of the protective netting with 3:19 to go in the first period. Still 1-0 Miami as they're now out shooting Colorado College 8-4. Draw coming up at center ice.
It feels like the RedHawks are starting to almost dominate this final 6 minutes or so of this first period right now. So RedHawks have really eased into this one, and Colorado's doing quite the opposite.
Frank kind of got everybody with the pump fake there as they were lining up. Both wings came flying into the face-off circle, but the puck was not on the ice yet. Now the puck is dropped and the face-off is won by Riley Stewart in Colorado College. Constance hands it up the right side for Stenari. He dumps it into the offensive end. A coin nearly gave it away below his goal line, and Mikan took it in the corner and it just popped off his stick in front, where Drobak just pounced on it to make the safe play. Mikan just couldn't get a handle on it, and in fumbling with the puck, kind of shot it on his own goal there. But Drobak is ready for the task, and it sets up an offensive zone faceoff for Colorado College.
Drobak's been stellar all year, really, and he's been stellar again tonight so far. A bunch of key saves, and right there also staying calm in a situation that's rather scary as well.
Face-off to Drobak's left. The near side of the ice. On your radio, the RedHawks win the draw and tap it up the near wall, but nobody's there until Mercick arrives and holds the zone for Colorado College, pushing it in behind the goal. Lukashevich muscles up the far side and does get it through center. Giampa tried to twist it through the middle of the ice, but found nothing but Tigers, and now Riley Stewart rounds it up the near side, finds Stenari, and he chips it in. Stenari going solo by himself as Drobak goes behind Miami's net to grab the puck and just throws it up the near boards all the way to CC's end. Roberts back on it there. He goes D-to-D for Fish. Deflection to the far side. Mercick waiting, shooting from a sharp angle, saved by Drobak. Net pops off as Drobak jumps on the loose puck in front of him. And we've got whistles, and the arm of the neutral ice referee is up in the air, and I think we'll have a penalty for the first time in this game in a moment. And it looks like it's on Colorado College. Or are they going to get two guys? Well, the referee was waving his partner over to go make the call. The guilty party is Klavs Weinbergs. It's a 2-minute roughing call to Klavs Weinbergs. And that sends Miami to the game's first power play. Colorado College is not a great team in terms of their special teams, really, on either side. Their power play just 14.3%. Their penalty kill 74.5%. Miami's power play, which has heated up a little bit of late, looking at just 15.4% this year, 10 for 65.
Oh, a big opportunity here with 2 minutes and 22 seconds left in the first period for the RedHawks. A disaster really for Colorado there. I mean, that's the last thing you can take as you're already down 1-0 here.
Just kind of an unnecessary penalty in front of the net. There was a little bit of shoving, and officials policed that tight as I would assume that kind of push that Weinbergs gave was what knocked the net off, and that was called. And so now the RedHawks win the draw. They've got the second power play unit out there to start, and Miami goes to work for the first time. It's Smith in the near corner. He hands it up the wall for Kasper Nassen. Nassen skates it top of the left circle. Shifting back and forth, Nassen started towards the front of the net, now has it back in the middle, and now a one-timer from the left circle is blockered away by Umberrico. 2-on-2 puck battle below the goal line. CC sends a third man below the goal line on the penalty kill, and credit to the Tigers, they do win the battle as Stewart skates it free, heads down the far side, and chips it out on the backhand as the puck rolls up rough ice all the way down with 1:43 to go in the first period. 1:20 to go in the penalty to Klavs Weinbergs. Miami partway through getting their top line out there as it's skated into the offensive zone by Mateo Giampa. He wraps it around the wall to the near side now for Morozov at the left point. Into the corner for Delic. Now center point. Thompson waits, finds Delic top of the left circle. Into the corner for Giampa. Down the middle, Thompson with a one-timer. He drilled Deputy in front. Puck trickles to the far corner where Morozov pulled it free for a second, but then lost it. Now regains possession, though, for Miami. Thompson center point. Behind the back pass. Morozov right circle shot. Knocked down in front. It's trickling around, and now it's chopped up to the right point by Delic, where Morozov hands it off. Delic center point. into the corner for Giampa. He turned around and threw it across. It's deflected back up to the point. Inside the final minute, Delic off a shot fake, heads into the corner. Delic now goes up top. He's being hounded by Link. And Miami gives it away, and Colorado College clears it down with 41 seconds to go in the first. RedHawks are moving the puck, but this is a strong penalty kill put forth so far. As Miami is confused in the change. They've only got 4 guys out there with 30 seconds to go as the RedHawks play it back in. 5 seconds remaining on the penalty as it's thrown down again off a fumbled zone entry by Miami. Weinbergs is a free man, and that officially ends the first power play of the game. The RedHawks unsuccessful. Tipped into the offensive zone by Miami with 14 seconds to go. Puck comes up the near side high in the air where Weinbergs has it chopped off his stick. He regains possession and throws it in front for Coring. Skated down the left wing now. Lindberg enters the offensive zone with 3 seconds, 2 and 1. Twisted it in front where Weinbergs got behind the D, but the puck didn't arrive to him as Miami intercepted the pass, and the first period comes to an end. Well, Miami ends up out shooting Colorado College 10-5. Period got a little better as it went along, but I don't think either coach is super thrilled with their start. For Miami, at the very least, happy with how things have transpired on the scoreboard. Max Helgeson's goal, the difference so far, just past the halfway mark, an unassisted tally by Miami's second leading goal scorer, has them up 1-0 as we go into the first intermission. But overall, a lot of bouncing pucks. It felt like teams were playing on outdoor ice for half of that period. Just not a whole lot of crisp, clean passing, not a whole lot of togetherness from either team, and it led to a period where really kind of fitting that the only goal was off really an individual effort where Helgeson did it all by himself. Yeah, some sloppiness in this first period, absolutely. But if you're Alex Noreen and this coaching staff, you got to be pretty thrilled that you're leading this game right now 1-0, and also a Colorado College team who is 5th in the country coming into this game with 573 shots on goal, only sitting here with 5, and 3 of those came within the first 2.5 minutes of this one. So stellar, if you really think of it in that aspect, but some things you need to clean up if you're the RedHawks as you come into the second period, and not too worried that'll happen. Long road trips, I mean, Ireland and then your West Coast, so settling in, yeah, finally happening maybe. Hopefully in the second period, a little bit better. RedHawks will have a couple of weeks off before they take to the ice the next time out. The GLI can really leave it all on the ice this week. Miami traditionally has gotten better the longer you've gone into games. They have generally started the second period significantly better this year than they've played in the first, and so we'll see if that's the case as we get across the intermission and head into the second frame in just about 15 minutes time. We'll take a break. When we come back, Will Salzarulo has your Red Hawk Radio intermission, stats and analysis from the first period, to take a look at the national scoreboard around college hockey and preview the second. Again, that comes after the break. After 20 minutes here from Cady Arena, the score Miami 1 and Colorado College 0. And we'll return with intermission after this. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio.
listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Good evening and welcome to Goggin Ice Arena once again. I'm Salzarulo, and this will be your first intermission analysis. So the two contenders, Miami and Colorado College, actually quite a boring period, not much play happening, especially during the middle part of the period. They were just going back and forth constantly with no one really getting much ground. So here's how it happened. Colorado dominated the opening minutes, getting 3 shots on goal in 2 minutes. But they slowed down in the middle period, and they switched constantly back, as I previously mentioned, back and forth. That was until Miami marks the score sheet first with 11 minutes and 2 seconds in. A goal by Max Helgeson, his 8th of the year. He is unassisted in that goal. I feel like this happens quite frequently. Whenever Miami scores, they kind of wake up a little bit. You know, constantly traveling, especially going from Northern Ireland all the way to back to Denver in a week. That can do a lot on a team, especially with that time change. But, you know, I feel like every time Miami scores, they wake up, you know. They know what they're doing, and now they feel like, okay, now we can do this. We can get the leg up on these guys, and they have so far. And then they've been a dominant force, especially in the last 6 minutes of the period. Colorado actually got a 2-minute minor for a roughing by Vlad Zvinsberg. But however, the Colorado PK was on point, killing that penalty. And now shots on net, Miami's dominating with 10 shots on goal, and Colorado only with 5, so half of that. Miami has a bunch of stuff they can improve on, especially in the first period. But there was a bunch of icing calls against Miami. There was about 2 or 3, especially in game-breaking, that could honestly gotten them a goal. They kept on icing the puck, and that is not something you want when you're trying to go up against a very competitive team that is nationally ranked by the NCAA. Face-offs. Miami has typically been not the greatest when it comes to face-off wins. However, I feel like tonight especially they haven't gotten many face-off wins. Bunch of breakaway opportunities that ended up not going anywhere. I saw one of the most beautiful plays of my entire life earlier tonight. It could have gone, honestly, viral. It was one of the best plays I've ever seen. However, it went up short. Miami bank passed it off the glass into, basically taped to wall the puck to another player. They shot, but then it got mixed up with a fantastic save by Umberico for Colorado. Now, in conclusion, Miami is up 1-0 for Miami. Matchups in the NCHC: Denver, it's at St. Cloud, Omaha at North Dakota, Arizona State at Minnesota Duluth. Actually, the state of hockey, Minnesota, is having a lot of play tonight with St. Thomas, who will join the NCHC next season, is up against Northern Michigan. The score is zeros across the board. Michigan Tech's at Ferris State, zeros across the board. Yale at Merrimack ahead by 1. Army and Dartmouth are zeros across the board. Alaska Fairbanks and Union of New York, they both have 1 on the books. So quite an exciting day left for hockey. A bunch of second periods are coming up, especially all around college hockey. And when we come back after the break, you'll hear from Luke West Poley and Gavin Stark about the second period. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. I've been Salzarulo. Stay tuned.
Second period about to begin here from Cady. The score Miami 1 and Colorado College nothing. First night of the two-game series as CC returns to conference play following a non-con split with nationally ranked Providence. Prior to that, Colorado College coming off an overtime win on Saturday night over Minnesota Duluth to salvage a split at home. This is their first road game since the Friday night of the in-state rivalry against Denver on November 14th. And a fast start, kind of, for Colorado College. A good first shift and then not a whole lot after that for Miami. Defensively, they were excellent following an early chance they gave up on that said first shift of the game. RedHawks did get a goal, but did not really, it felt like, execute it at their best offensively. So we'll see how each team adjusts as we head into the middle period. All black uniforms for Colorado College. They go right to left. White uniforms with some red trim for Miami as they go left to right. And we are underway. Colorado trolls off the draw and it's dumped into the offensive end by Weinbergs. Run down by Ryder Thompson below the goal line. And Miami chips it up the near wall for a 2-on-2 breakout as Giampa heads down the right side and chops it into the offensive end. It got around Ilya Morozov, and now down the right wing with some speed. It's tucked through the middle where Weinberg said it pop off his stick, looking to spring a rush. Gets to it in the corner and goes up to the point. Coring now with a wrister through traffic, tipped in front by Lindberg. Didn't look like Drobak ever got a stick on it. A collision in front as the puck went away. And now Miami goes the other way as Morozov drags and shoots him. Barrico made a pad stack glove save as he got kind of slide tackled in front. And both goalies get collided with in the span of about 10 seconds of game time. Drobak got his stick dislodged from his grasp. Colorado College not happy that Barrico got taken out. It looks like, though, on replay that the RedHawk who was in front that got buried in the net got shoved down, fighting for position in front of the net. That was Mateo Giampa. And that kind of chipped the legs out from Caden Barrico, and he ended up going into a pad stack and making an excellent glove save. However, may or may not have stood if it got past him anyway, as he may have been interfered with. Anthony Noreen was barking a little bit at referee Nolan Bloyer, as Giampa did kind of get pushed into the net there, and there was maybe an argument that there could have been a CC penalty, but regardless, off the draw, it was controlled by Miami, but David Deputy had a second of indecision and loses the puck in the process as it's now skated diagonally across the ice by Ryan Alexander, and he dumps it into the offensive end. The near wall it comes, and Michael Phelan skates out of the pile with it. He finds Kyle Lecoyne, who crosses the red and rips it around. Smith onto it in the near corner. The puck just hit off his stick and went straight up in the air and hit the protective netting in the corner. There have just been some puzzling puck bounces in this first period and change as we're now 1:07 into the second period. Miami leads at 1-0, but they keep the draw in the offensive end for the RedHawks as Miami brings out their third line.
Well, I feel like we used the word sloppiness a lot in the first period, and we're going to be using that word a lot, it feels like, again in the second period, because it's once again sloppy to start things off.
I mean, you would think that there was an inch of slush sitting on the ice the way that pucks have been bouncing off of sticks, and it has just been a war to connect a couple of passes together. Miami won the face-off, but the pass is intercepted on the far side. Colorado College tried to thread a pass forward, but it missed Vincent and Strine. Now it takes a wacky deflection in front, and it was shot wide by Bjork. Puck lodged up against the end wall where it is grabbed by Sean McEwen for Miami, and he just rainbows it up the far boards and out to center. CC regroups quickly in. Philip Blaise Savoy rims it to the far side where it's held in on the point by Mateo Mann. Across for Blaise Savoy, wrister through, punched out of the air by Drobak. And now on the left wing, Link turns around and twists it further in. Again wrapped around the far wall where Mann holds it in on the right point. Point to point for Blaise Savoy. Middle of the ice, Link, backhand shovel in deep where Bjork gets tacked up against the Zamboni doors and sauces it to the near side. Blaise Savoy reverses along the near hashes, hands it off for Stewart, center point. His shot got stuffed. Doug Grimes is hurt, as it looks like he caught that right on the skate laces, but that really gets the Miami bench going as they clear. Colorado College, though, does get it back into Miami's end quickly, As a hit is Stewart to earn possession. Stewart goes up the near wall where Coring couldn't handle a bouncing puck. It was tapped by him by Nassen. Could have maybe jumped by him for a potential one-on-one, but he's gassed, and instead the RedHawks just have to give up possession to Colorado College, who come back the other way with speed. Now down the right side, it was thrown to the back door looking for Mercick, but the pass was behind him coming from Riley Stewart. And up the near boards, Ethan Hay can't clear off the initial attempt, but now it's taken up the near wall by Bradley Walker, who enters the offensive zone. Walker handles through traffic. It's taken off his stick as he entered the offensive zone. Colorado College sends it the length of the ice, but it took a bounce as Ryder Thompson goes down to it, and it's not icing. Miami finishes up their change, 16:51 to go second period. And Miami leads it 1-0, and now the RedHawks ice the puck there as Miami was trying to just pass it from blue line to blue line. Giampa missed, and one of those plays where kind of everybody was already in the offensive zone, but that is icing if it goes untouched, and so faceoff comes to the near side of the ice in Colorado College's offensive zone. 16:47 to go second period. It's 1-0 Miami. Top line's out there. Weinberg's against Morozov on the draw, and Weinberg's wins it cleanly to the left point where Scott skates it down the wall into the corner. He runs into the linesman and wraps it around to the far side where Roberts holds the zone. Now Lindbergh sends a shot intentionally wide from the left point looking for a bounce in front. He didn't get it, and instead CC just throws the puck to open ice on the near side. Scott gets to it, plays it in behind for Weinberg's. Puck is poked off his stick. There is a Tiger that is really shaken up on the far side. That's Tomas Mercick. He can't even get to his feet as he was kind of army crawling a step or two up the far boards and then just collapsed in a heap over on the far hashes. And so that draws a visit from the training staff for Colorado College's. Not sure what happened over there, but Mercick is really, really shaken up.
This would be a huge loss for Colorado as he
He's keeled over his waist. But again, Mercick, he kind of started to get to his feet and then just went right back down, and he gave kind of a couple tiny pushes going up the ice to try and get to the bench, which is right next to where he was injured. It's the long change period, and he went down in the far corner, so he was able to kind of use the wall as a support on his way to the bench, and immediately goes right to the end of the bench and gets visited by the trainer. Officials are discussing where the faceoff should be as they now give their deliberation to Chris Mayo. It's a bit of a funky play because Miami had possession of the puck, and so technically in most cases you would not blow the play dead there. However, if they deem Mercick to be in harm's way, then the officials are permitted to blow the play dead, and the players had kind of slowed down as the puck went over there and they saw Mercick down. And so because Colorado College technically caused that stoppage, the faceoff comes out of the zone. Chris Mayo is not happy on the Colorado College bench as he's kind of signaling, I believe, a recollection of the events of what he thought happened to Mercick over in the corner. Again, we didn't see it. It looked like it was away from the puck. Colorado College actually, I think, is going to challenge this for a major penalty, as both teams are called to their benches. And indeed, Chris Mayo and the crew got the call from upstairs, and they'll challenge this for a potential major penalty.
looked like a shoulder injury on Mercick. They were looking at the shoulder on the bench, but he's not being looked at anymore. Never mind, as I say that, he is being looked at again now.
So we'll have to see. Both teams get called over to their benches. And so this is Colorado College's timeout if they lose this. And again, because there's no penalty called on the ice, you can only call a major here or nothing. You can call a standalone major penalty with no game misconduct. That was a rule change from a couple years ago. But you could not call a minor penalty even if one occurred here. So both teams just kind of milling about. And again, this happened on the far wall, kind of away from the play. Let's get another look at this on the monitor. And it was a stick check delivered, it looked like, by Coach Adelic. And then right after that, Michael Phelan came in and he bumped Mercick. Not exceptionally hard, but Mercick was in a very vulnerable position in kind of that textbook boarding spot where you're about 5 feet off the boards with your back turned to the middle of the ice. And he was tagged along the wall. And the hit wasn't really finished through the boards like your typical boarding penalty would be. It wasn't a true kind of run through the numbers, so to speak. But you bump him in the numbers, and it looked like the injury for Mercick came because of the way he fell into the boards coming from a vulnerable position. Here's our call. So no penalty on the play, and Colorado College loses the timeout. Again, it's just one of those that it wasn't even a real hit. It was Michael Phelan, I believe, that delivered it for Miami. Just kind of bumped. And for Mercick, it's unfortunate because he was in a really vulnerable spot and had his numbers showing. And again, that's one that if the referees could have it back, they would probably call a minor penalty there. But because it didn't constitute a major, UQ, and as a result, Colorado College loses their timeout.
Well, I just think it would be a big ask to get that moved to a major. So I'm honestly curious on why they even challenged that one. Now they lose a timeout.
So that's it for the game for Colorado College. And now we have play restarted as CC puts it into the offensive zone. Coach Adelic gets hit hard as the puck rolls to the far side. It's rolling along the shelf of the boards. And pulled off the dasher by Phelan, who goes D-to-D for a coin. And now through the middle of the ice for Coach Adelic. Leaves it through his legs. Former Rozov, he skates it into the offensive end, and now Giampa loses it just outside the offensive zone. Giampa throws it to the middle. A coin finds Delic, who skates it down the left side. Morozov played it in front, but Alexander's right there in the high slot for CC, who pulls it back below their own goal line as Miami changes up and releases some of the pressure. 1-0 RedHawks approaching the 5-minute mark in the second period. And down the right wing, it's brought into the offensive zone. And thrown along the far boards by Vincent. Poked up and down the boards by Constance, and now Vincent again in the corner trying to go up for Constance at the point. Pass intercepted by Ryan Smith, who backhands it to center ice. Coring on the regroup down the left wing for CC. Gets hit as he throws it into the offensive zone. Drobach down to a knee behind the net as he throws it up the right side. Held into the offensive zone though by CC. Now it comes to the near wing and Lalonde taps it just outside the zone. Vincent brings it back in. His pass to the far side got deflected away, but still finds Bjork as he dances his way below the goal line, threw it in front. It hit two players, but slid dangerously through the slot before it eventually ended up on the near side. Back along the boards, Bjork throws it out in front, and a wide open point-blank chance is blown dead for Colorado College as they committed a penalty away from the puck. Brett Link going to the box here, and Vincent had a wide open chance from the doorstep that is whistled dead before he has a shot to tie the game, and Miami's going to their second power play.
And now that's both penalties that have happened on Colorado's end, just straight punches in the face.
Actually, they're going to get both guys here as McEwen was sent to the box. So there was a skirmish away from the puck. You heard the boards crash as the puck was going to the front of the net, but everybody's eyes moved to the net front because, again, Connor Vincent had the puck on a stick between the hashes with nobody between he and Mateo Drobach. The whistle was blown dead, but they get a penalty on Brett Link for roughing, and they get Miami's Sean McEwen for embellishment, which is not a penalty you see called very often. But that brings things to a 4-on-4 and keeps the faceoff in the offensive zone for Colorado College. 14:44 to go in the second period. No power play for Miami.
A much more physical second period ever since the crash on Embarico. It's been really physical since then.
Yeah, we saw both goalies get collided with in the span of about 10 seconds. And like you said, the physicality has ratcheted up since. Face-off controlled by Colorado College. We're skating for a side. Weinberg's tacked off the puck by Lukashevich, and now Morozov doubles back behind Miami's net and hands it off for Lukashevich behind the cage as Colorado College backs off on the pressure. Giampa skates it ahead for Miami. Finds Lukashevich down the right wing, enters the offensive zone, top of the circle, dances his way through the middle, fakes the handoff for Thompson, heads to the point, and now just veers out of the zone as he didn't like the look. Lukashevich and Thompson play catch. Thompson has it back again. He crosses Miami's defensive blue and feeds Lukashevich down the left wing. He enters the offensive zone, threw it out in front for Morozov, who was driving, tried to tap it on net with one hand, but his stick was lifted by Weinbergs. Not much he could do there, and Colorado College swipes the puck away as Miami goes for a change with 1:06 to go in the 4-on-4. 13:46 to go second period. Colorado College, in taking the penalty, robbed of their best chance to tie the game, but we continue to skate for a side as it's dumped into the offensive end by Scott. Picked up on the far wing by Coring. Coring tried to throw it in front, but a sliding stop by Phelan, although he gave it away now, trying to go back the other way for Miami. And that allowed CC to get it back into the offensive end, but Miami quickly takes possession. Delic skates it out to center for Miami. Deputy was in way offside as Delic tried to skate it in. Deputy just was unsure of his position on the ice there and was about 3 steps ahead of Coach Adelic as the RedHawks rushed up the ice. Pause with 35 seconds remaining in the 4-on-4, 13:18 to go in the period with Miami leading 1-0. Face-off just outside Miami's offensive blue line. It's won by Colorado College and Gavin Lindbergh, and backed up by the Tigers with 30 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. Coring down the left wing. Shovels it into the offensive zone. Bouncing puck controlled by Thompson. He hands it off for Ryan Smith. Smith ducks down the left wing. Got past Lindbergh. Hands it off. Helgeson driving down the middle. His stick was lifted from behind by Lindbergh and now sprung the other way. Lazowski down the wing shoots. It's blockered away by Drobak. And now the RedHawks maybe with numbers if they hurry, although the pass doesn't find Ryan Smith cleanly, who almost gave it away in front with Lazowski bearing down on him. Drobak has to come out of his net to get to the loose puck between the hashes and throw it behind his own goal line as both players get out of the box and we skate 5 aside once again. Tipped into the offensive zone by Miami. Stupka wins possession on the forecheck briefly for the RedHawks. And now Grimes grabs it for Miami, handing off for Stupka in the far corner. Up to the point it comes. A coin sends a shot through. That's blocked right in front by Vincent. And now the RedHawks give it away, and Link dances his way down the center, heads left, enters the offensive zone. His second chance finds Bjork, who drags it through his legs, wraps around the net, and gave it for Vincent on the back door, but he fanned on the shot. And now Vincent is plugged up along the near wall in the corner. Back up to the point, Blaise Savoy with a shot blocker down by Drobak. He didn't know where it was. And the RedHawks hand passed it in front in the scramble to get to the loose puck on the edge of the blue paint. So a whistle to stop play with 11:57 to go in the second period. It's 1-0 Miami and a face-off coming up on the far side of the ice.
The amount of opportunities that Colorado has missed on in this second period is just abysmal. It's unbelievable.
Drobak kind of struggled with that one that came up near his blocker moments ago, and the puck just dropped down right at his feet, but fortunately, Miami got to it to cause a stoppage. Face-off win for CC. Scott with a shot through, tipped in front. It sat in the slot as that deflection took all the momentum off the puck. It never got to the net, but did sit there for a potential second opportunity before Miami grabs it and clears it out. Stupka pushes it further into the offensive zone for Miami as they complete a full 5-man change. Brought back out by Colorado College and driven down the center of the ice by Fisher Scott. Into the offensive zone, McEwen fighting for position for Miami. He gets help from Owen Lalonde, and now Ethan Hay battling for the puck in the near corner. He pulls it out and finds McEwen in the far corner. McEwen lofts it through him. Mirsic played it down right at the blue line. A big collision out near there as CC brings it back in a mini 3-on-1. Brought down the far side and shoveled in the direction of the net by Weinbergs. He had a sharp angle, though, and threw it wide. Now off the regroup, Scott couldn't hold the zone, and now the puck comes all the way into CC's end where Ethan Hay wins the race for Miami and gets there first. But 4 black jerseys arrive before a second RedHawk, and it's pulled away by Colorado College. Mirsic's first pass through the middle, knocked right back to him. He hands off for Weinbergs just inside the blue. Dances around an initial check, and now Coring into the left circle. Shoots one that's partially deflected off a slide by Bradley Walker. It goes wide. Now a shot intentionally wide from the right point. Lindbergh grabs it on the near side and twisted one in front. But the post was sealed, and now Morozov dances down the far side of the ice after Colorado College missed holding the zone, and Morozov all alone just has no options below the goal line. He gets stripped of possession as CC goes up the near wall. Morozov with a quick takeaway, but Delic couldn't get it further into the offensive zone for Miami. And Miami's forced to regroup. Giampa tips it into the offensive end as he goes in for a hit, but it's pulled out by Colorado College, and Alexander has a full head of steam down the left wing as he enters the offensive zone. Dumps it in deep, but he's pushed along the boards by Phelan. Kyle LeCoyne got to the loose puck, but blows a tire. And now he turns it over below Miami's goal line as Lazowski threw it in the high slot, but it is knocked away. And the RedHawks had some numbers, but tired bodies as Coach Adelic couldn't turn that one up ice for a potential one with Giampa. The black jerseys arrive for Colorado College and steal it away. Up the right side, it's brought into the offensive zone. Scott now on the left wing shoots. He's stood up by Helgeson as Miami blocks yet another shot up near the high slot. Puck rolls into the near corner where it's pulled out by Owen Lalonde. He fanned on his first clearing attempt, finds the second, and now a 3-on-2 if Miami hurries. Giampa down the right side into the offensive zone, all the way across, finds Smith. Down the center, Smith in the slot, shoots! Shoulder save by Mbarico. Stick laying on the ice, it belongs to a Tiger defender as Deputy shoots one through traffic. That broke a stick in front and fluttered wide. Right point, Lukashevich fakes the shot, heads into the left circle. Lukashevich still handling. He's got a defender on him with no stick as he dances all the way back up to the high slot. Lukashevich shoots, save made as Mbarico gloves it away. And now from the left side, a shot through traffic. It deflects off the far post and was rolling in the crease off a one-timer by Stupka. A penalty now in the scramble that followed, and Colorado College is going to the kill. We get a stoppage as they touch up with 8:43 to go in the second period, but probably the best shift of the game for Miami. They break two sticks of Tiger defenders, and the RedHawks had a whole ton of possession. A Justin Stupka one-timer that was partially stopped by Mbarico, but the puck squirted through behind him and hit off the left post before sitting in the blue paint for a second. CC commits a penalty, though. It saved a goal in all likelihood, though, for Fisher Scott. And that sends Colorado College to their second kill when we return. Media timeout, power play on the other side for Miami with 8:43 to go in the second period. The score, the RedHawks 1 and the Tigers 0, and you're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. .843 remains in the second period, and this game's pace has picked up significantly over the last 5 minutes of game time or so. Miami with probably their best offensive shift of the game. Finally some possession in the offensive zone led to a golden scoring chance, but a one-timer that was partially stopped by Cady Mbarico rolled off the left post. Sat in the crease for a moment. Colorado College commits a penalty as Fisher Scott holds the stick, and he goes off for two, and now Miami goes to the game's second power play. RedHawks are 0 for 1, but control the draw as we're back underway with Miami leading 1-0. 8:36 to go in the period as Coach Adelic with a shot deflected in front. Mbarico makes a stick save and directs it up into the protective netting. 10 seconds into the power play. Colorado College has closed the shots gap a little bit. It's 13-10 now after Miami had the early advantage. Face-off coming up again on the far side of the ice for Miami's top power play line. And Ilya Morozov false starts. So Coach Adelic comes in to take it against Gavin Lindbergh for Colorado College. And the face-off win again by the RedHawks as they move it up to the point, and Ryder Thompson hands it back down the wall for Giampa, but he lost it, and now it's sprung for a breakaway down the middle by Lindberg all alone. He fakes and shot it off the right post. Drobak may have got a piece of it, but that puck got through and just couldn't convert. Gavin Lindberg looking for the shorty, and instead now Miami regroups with 1:24 to go in the penalty. The Hawks turn it over right as they get back into the offensive end as the chant begins for those in attendance. 45 seconds gone by in the power play with now part of the second unit out. David Deputy jumps into the offensive zone, and down the left wing it's Morozov up to the point for Michael Quinn. He hands it across for Mateo Giampa. Back center point for Quinn. Walks across to the right side. Quinn hit Giampa in the back with a wrist shot. And now the puck is blasted along the wall, but held in by Quinn. He throws it across though on the far side. Delic couldn't hang onto the pass. And CC attempted to connect on a potential odd man rush up the near side of the ice. Missed and just takes it as a clear as they go for a change. 40 seconds remaining in the minor penalty. And a collision out near the middle of the ice, and Doug Grimes goes down as the RedHawks regroup back in. Helgeson hands it off for Smith. Grimes back to his feet as Smith walks to the left circle and shoots. Chest saved by Mberico. Back up for Nassen on the left half wall. He finds Helgeson across the ice at the point. He shoots, and that's into the red basket of Mberico. Hangs on. 17 seconds remaining in the penalty to Fisher Scott, and 7 minutes even to go in the period with Miami leading 1-0. Colorado College changes up their forwards. They bring out Connor Vinson and Brett Link. Keep their deep pairing the same as Miami's got the second power play unit out there, and the RedHawks' best faceoff man, Ethan Hay, takes the draw against Vinson, and Vinson wins it back for Colorado College, but Miami arrives at the puck first, and they reset it all the way up to the point. Quinn at the center, gives it for Helgeson right side. He one-times it back for Quinn. 7 seconds to go in the penalty. Quinn now right point, drags, throws it across. Nassen into the corner for Ryan Smith. Threw it in front, 2x in it, now a third by Hay. And it's covered up right as the penalty expires by Mberico, who had that post sealed and did not budge despite some hacking and whacking from Hay along the far post. And that brings us to a timeout on the ice. 6:41 remaining in the second period. Max Helgeson's goal still stands. 2 successful kills in the game for Colorado College as the RedHawks continue to lead it by a score of 1-0. Back to Cady Arena after the break. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. .641 remaining in the second period. Colorado College kills off the penalty and keeps it a 1-0 game led by Miami. RedHawks out shooting the Tigers 17-11. Again, it's a Colorado College team that loves to shoot as they're top 5 in the country in shots on goal. And Miami has largely kept them at bay offensively in this game. Offensive zone faceoff coming up for Miami's fourth line. And it's won by the RedHawks, and Phelan along the right point throws one wide, looking for a kick out in front, but the puck hits off the backside of the net. Colorado College, though, can't clear as Bradley Walker shovels it back in deep. Stupka muscles his man off the puck, and now Miami goes to work below the goal line where Mike can find Stupka on the far corner. Stupka trying to hit the brakes in reverse. He left the puck behind him, though, and it's kicked up the far boards where Link turned it over just inside the blue line. Walker sauces it down low. Stupka got a touch on it. That was a pass as he looked to find Stupka driving the front of the net, but couldn't do so. Now it comes back in front for a sharp angle shot by Mikan, and Iberico makes the save. Puck tucked up along the near wall where it came in for a second and Miami cleared. Colorado College trying to put it back in with pace, but they were offside, and that allows Miami to tip it into the offensive zone and change. Under 6 to go, second period. It's 1-0 Miami. Down the right wing, Bjork enters the offensive zone, steps around McEwen, reverses in the corner and goes up to the point where he hit his man on the skate, and Roberts coughs it up. And now Morozov heads down the right wing. Giampa wanted it, but Morozov couldn't find him. Now Morozov jumps towards the front of the net. He lost possession of the puck, looking to poke that to Giampa. And Alexander skates it through the trees and away through the neutral zone. But Morozov with a steal, and now he chips it into the offensive zone. Delic onto it first for Miami in the near corner. Delic locked up, and a penalty coming up on Colorado College. Now Miami brings it out in front. McEwen with a shot fake from the top of the slot, and he lost possession. It's touched up by the Tigers. Just a bizarre penalty there for Colorado College to take as Coach Delic was pinned in the near corner, and who checked him off the puck just continued to hold him along the wall even after the puck had made its way out of the pile and up the boards. Scott looks dumbfounded, but that was right in front of the referee, and Scott goes back to the box for the second time in about 5 minutes.
It's the most easy penalty to call for these referees as well. I mean, it was right in front of their face and super clear.
And again, holding is not the rarest of calls, but it's not the most common either. And now Fisher Scott has gone for holding the stick and holding in the span of about 4 minutes. The RedHawks win the faceoff in the offensive zone, but Helgeson couldn't handle a bouncing puck and gave it away, which allows Colorado College to clear as far as Miami's blue line. We're inside the final 2 minutes final 5 minutes rather of the second period, as Hay enters the offensive zone on the right wing, tucks it into the corner looking for Smith that got by him. Helgeson chasing after it for Miami, and now Weinbergs gets to the loose puck in the corner and hands it behind the net. Constance with space goes off the glass and out for Colorado College, who have killed the first 30 seconds of the penalty. Tigers 2 for 2 on the kill so far. Miami has not taken a penalty, so they've had every positive chance in terms of special teams. Smith skates it down the right wing and just dumps it into the offensive zone. Delic giving chase as it's wrapped around the far boards by Roberts and hops the stick of Kasper Nassen, who was looking to hold the zone. All the way down it goes with 1:06 to go in the minor penalty to Fisher Scott. Quinn turns it around just inside Miami's blue line. Giampa plays catch with Delic, dances into the offensive zone, finds Deputy on the right wing, shot through traffic, hit an unsuspecting Iberico in front who made the save, and then fumbled with in the corner off the loose puck by Colorado College, and it deflects up into the protective netting. Deputy looked a little surprised that that pass through traffic found him. He had a lane and kind of mishandled looking for a toe drag, but then just whacked it through the legs of 2 Colorado College players. Iberico did not see it at all, and more so than him making the save, it just hit him right where his 2 leg pads meet to cover up the 5-hole. The puck trickled wide into the near corner. Face-off on the far side of the ice is controlled by Miami and David Deputy, who pokes it into the corner but then lost it in front. And between the hashes, Weinbergs turns and throws it down the ice. Discards his glove and adjusts his mask as Colorado College sets up into their 1-1-2. And Miami brings it back into the offensive zone on the left wing, courtesy of Morozov, who sauces one in front, but it doesn't find anybody and ends up in the near corner for Deputy. 25 seconds to go in the power play for Miami. Delic center point, fires a bullet into the left circle for Morozov. Back up for Delic, and now Lukashevich center point. 2 deflections in front. It went up high, bounced back over the net, and landed in front where nobody could get a clean handle on it. RedHawks still with it. It's Morozov, top of the right circle, finds Lukashevich. He rips one wide. Puck rolls up along the backside of the net and now settles below the goal line where it ping-pongs in front. Morozov shot block. Deputy on the rebound. He scores. Just a scramble in front. The puck took a deflection below the goal line and just popped in front for Ilya Morozov. His initial shot got stopped, but Iberico had to commit so much to that first opportunity that David Deputy just walked across the front facing of the goal crease untouched and had the whole net to shoot at. And Deputy buries it for his third goal as a Red Hawk. The freshman makes it 2-0 Miami with 3:10 left in the second period. Not sure if that's officially a power play goal. Whether or not it actually is, it's a pseudo power play goal, as it was right as the penalty was expiring and Colorado College still was defending with just 4 players. But regardless, the goal by Deputy, his third of the year, doubles Miami's lead in the late stages of the second. Colorado College gets it into the offensive end as we restart play. Scott, who just took those couple of penalties, gives it up top and now has a return feed and threw it out in front for a block by Grimes that, again, draws the ire of the Miami bench. Grimes has been battered today, blocking some shots as Miami tries to clear it up the near wall and cannot do so. Bjork behind the net, tucked one in front. It went behind Link and Vinstrom, but it is held in initially by Colorado College before Miami finally clears it out. The goal is officially even strength just seconds after the penalty expired to Fisher Scott. It's Deputy from Morozov at 16:50 as the freshmen make a connection. Link dances his way to the net front, but the puck poked off his stick to the near boards as we approach 2 minutes to play in the period. 7th assist of the year for the freshman Ilya Morozov as Miami brings it into the offensive zone, but Bradley Walker got tangled up and moved in offside as a result. 2:07 remaining in the second period and a chance to breathe as Miami has re-expanded the shots lead very significantly, now nearly doubling up Colorado College at 21-11, and they lead it 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, it was 14-11 halfway through this second period, and now, like you said, 21-11, and just dominating the shot on goal statistic, which is something no one would have thought of coming into the night.
Anthony Noreen said during a press conference last year, we are very rarely going to outshoot our opponents. It's not really the game that we play, and you'd think that would be even more so the case against the Colorado College team that's kind of got the shoot from anywhere mentality. But Miami has done well for themselves defensively and started to pick things up on the other end as well thus far tonight. Pushed into the offensive end by the Tigers. Sherman plays it up to the point. Now Blaise Savoy from the left side drags, and Walker bumps him into the corner. Blaise Savoy circles and now climbs up the boards. Now back into the corner he goes. He threw it off the side of the net where it's plucked out by Owen Lalonde, and he softly chips it out to neutral ice where Sherman races back on it for Colorado College. Miami gets part of a change in under 90 seconds to play second period as it's 2-0 Miami. Blaise Savoy heads up the middle of the ice, steps left and enters the offensive zone. Lalonde poke-checked him, and Miami had a chance to stretch David Deputy, but we've got a penalty coming up here off the initial rush up the ice. And Lalonde is going for hooking. That could not have been off that poke check because that was as clean as it gets, but must have happened just earlier in the play. And now Colorado College will finally get a crack on a power play. Hooking call against Owen Lalonde, and that sends CC to the man advantage with 1:15 to play in the second period and trying to dig out of a 2-0 hole.
Big time opportunity here for CC with the last minute and 15 here, as they're down 2-0 here, and they haven't been able to find the net. And they've been close many times, but here a big opportunity for them to get it within one.
Again, mentioned the power play struggles for Colorado College, just 8 for 56 this year as Miami wins the draw and clears it out to neutral ice. It is rare in this league for Miami to face a team with a power play that struggles. The NCHC is a league that has built itself off of strong special teams, especially on the power play side. But CC will try to right the ship here as they do turn it over as they enter the offensive end, and Lukashevich connects with Deputy just outside the blue line, who slaps it down the ice with 47 seconds remaining in the period. 45 seconds of power play carryover coming up for CC into the third should they not score in the final 40. Back into the offensive zone for the Tigers, a coin in the far corner, locked up by Lindbergh. Now Bjork pushed along the wall by Hay. It's just pulled free by CC, and they wrap it around the wall for Lazowski, who plays it down low. Weinberg's thwarted by a coin, trying to go to the corner. Puck pops up for Robinson for a one-timer in the far corner. They score. Out of the circle, Wilson Bjork just climbed up to the face-off dot, and that's one that Mateo Drobak will probably want back. It went right between the wickets, and with 21 seconds left in the period, Colorado College answers to make it 2-1.
That's a huge answer there from CC. I mean, backs against the wall. They get the penalty and take full advantage of it to keep this one still alive for them as they head into the third period here.
Fourth goal of the career for Wilson Bjork, the freshman from Stockholm, Sweden. And a biggie for Colorado College, who cash in on the power play and make it a one-goal hockey game in all likelihood as we head to the third. Miami pushes it into the offensive zone quickly, hoping for one last rush in this period with 10 seconds to go. Slapped down the ice with 8 seconds left and short of icing as Thompson blows a tire, and now Link behind the net tried to walk his way to the front. Puck stuck in the slot for a second, and a turnaround try was fanned on at the buzzer by Vincent. Lukashevich exchanges words for Link, who delivered a shot on net after the buzzer had sounded, but the officials break things up pretty quickly. And after 38 minutes of really strong defensive hockey, Miami takes a penalty late in the second, and kind of a sour ending of the period for the RedHawks as Anthony Noreen is all over his group as they head into the tunnel. He is yelling at a lot of his guys as they go to the bench, presumably, I guess, to cut out some of the extracurricular activity, but regardless, teams will head into the tunnel, and Gavin, Miami would have felt, I think, really great about the way they played that middle period, expanding the lead to 2-0, cashing in, although not officially in a special teams opportunity, essentially doing so right as the power play came to a close. But again, Miami has seen as a team that in the non-conference was one of the more penalized teams in the entire country, that games can change really quickly if you take penalties, and just kind of an unfortunate lesson late in that period to make this a hockey game again as we go to the third.
Yeah, I mean, same thing as the first period when CC took the penalty late and kind of didn't be able to take opportunity in Miami. But, I mean, honestly, this game's gotten more physical in the second period, a really physical second period that's led to some penalties on both ends now. But this is a Miami team who likes to play physical anyways. They're already dominating Colorado in the shot on goal statistic, which no one would have thought of going in. So they're winning that, and this game's gotten more physical, so Alex Noreen can't be too upset as we head into the third period. The game's gotten more physical. That's where they like to be, and they're leading the shot on goal statistic by a wide margin of 9, 21-12. I mean, it's just been really pure dominance, like you said, for 38 minutes. In those final 2 minutes, Colorado's able to get on the board finally and keep this one within 1 as we head into the third.
Think about one of the more dominant efforts, especially in conference play, Miami's shown of late, was that Friday night game against St. Cloud, and you saw what happened. They took their foot off the gas, they blew a lead, ended up going to overtime in that game before ultimately winning it. Miami would like to avoid making things that close and nervy as we go down the stretch here, but you'll have to see what the temperament is like when they come out of the locker room for the third period in just a little bit. We'll take a break, and again, Will Salzarulo has a Red Hawk Radio intermission when we come back after 40 minutes here from Oxford. The score, Miami 2 and Colorado College 1 with the CC goal. No carryover power play time, so a fresh start for both teams, 5-on-5 headed to the third. Again, intermission report on the other side of the break. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio.
You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. I'm Will Salzarulo, and this is your second intermission lineup. And wow, what a second period. Both teams got one in the back of the net, making the score 2-1, and here's how it happened. Especially with the beginning of the period, it was not too eventful. However, earlier, Tomas Mercic was injured. Should have been a 2-minute minor. However, the refs did not see it. Colorado College tried to go for the 5-minute major penalty on Miami, but it was deemed not a 5-minute major, and Colorado College lost their timeout. And then shortly after, some 4-on-4 action for 2 minutes. Colorado, Brett Link for Colorado, 2 minutes for a roughing, a minor penalty. And Miami got a penalty, which I have not seen. I forgot this penalty was a thing. I've heard of it, of course. But Miami's Sean McEwen got a rare penalty for 2 minutes for embellishment. This penalty is where a player exaggerates a hit or a fall. I personally did not see this, as it was happening during an insane part of the game, right when the puck was going over Miami's zone for the goalie. Just barely missed the net. Crazy distraction. So that's how we did not see it. Miami kept on breaking Colorado 6 with 2. Pretty crazy, especially during around the 13-minute, 12-minute mark. They were going at it. They're upping the ante, putting the pressure up on Colorado, and Colorado did waver. Miami got a power play goal. Kind of. It was a weird power play goal. Fisher Scott, 1 minute and 59 seconds earlier, got a penalty for holding the stick. Miami got not a power play goal, but kind of a power play goal. It's hard to explain. It got by David Depian and Ilya Morozov. They got it the second after the penalty expired. However, Fisher Scott of Colorado didn't even step out of the box yet. So it was technically even strength, even though there was only 4 guys on the ice for Colorado. And there was a penalty on Miami's Owen Lalonde, 2 minutes for hooking, and then to iron it out, to up the ante, Colorado got a power play goal by Wilson Bjork, assisted by Gavin Lindbergh and Colton Roberts. So some keys for Miami's success. Offensive zone, they have a lot of good scoring opportunities. They just need to follow through, get the puck in the back of the net. I feel like that's the only thing really that needs to be worked on. Sure, Miami got a penalty late in the period that led to a goal. However, you're gonna get shot out eventually. So just improve the power play, improve the PK rather for Miami. Don't avoid offensive zone turnovers, and Miami should be golden for the third. Now I want to bring up a massive trade in the NHL. This is quite honestly the wildest trade I've seen in a while. Minnesota Wild and Vancouver Canucks have traded. Minnesota Wild gets Quinn Hughes, one of the best defensive linemen in the league, and Vancouver gets Marco Rossi, Liam Ogren, and Zeev Buium in a 2026 first-round pick. I was born a Wild fan, and this is the most bittersweet trade I think I've ever seen in this team's history. I mean, I loved Rossi. I remember actually talking about Buium when I did play-by-play for the Denver game last season. And now it's weird to see, especially Marco Rossi, outside of that green sweater. It's going to be weird, really hard to watch. But Quinn Hughes, this could either be the greatest trade in franchise history or one of the worst trades in franchise history. Only time will tell. So in conclusion, for the Miami game at least, Miami's up 2-1 going into the third. Now for some matchups in the NCHC, Denver, number 6 at St. Cloud. It's 2-0 for Denver. Omaha is at North Dakota, number 4, and it has not started yet. So no score there. Arizona State is at Minnesota Duluth, number 5. It is 1-0 in favor of OSU. OSU is going to try to go for a insane, honestly, playoff breaker. It could make or break the Minnesota Duluth thing, especially if they lose to ASU, who is not ranked. That'd be interesting to say at the very least. But that's all the time we have for the second intermission lineup. I've been Will Salzarulo, and after the break, you'll hear from Lucas Poley and Gavin Stark about the third period. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Stay tuned.
all set for the third period as Miami leads Colorado College here on Friday night by a 2-1 score. Poley, Gavin Stark back with you. Miami concedes late. The RedHawks get scored on 19:39 into the period. Wilson Bjork from Colton Roberts and Gavin Lindberg with just 21 seconds remaining in the period makes it 2-1. That was a goal scored on the power play by Colorado College and kind of takes the wind out of Miami's sails a little bit. This wasn't a game where you could say they've been all over Colorado College necessarily, but they did really have a chokehold on the pace. They weren't really allowing anything in their defensive zone. And in a hockey game like this, a 2-0 lead felt rather comfortable. And that comfort quickly vanishes for Miami as CC scores right before the break.
Yeah, it felt like a game where everything was just going Miami's way. They wasn't playing their best hockey. They haven't played their best hockey yet so far in these first two periods that we've seen, but things have gone their way, and they had a 2-0 lead, and then kind of life sucked out of them with that goal by Bjork.
So that gives Colorado College second life as we move underway in this third period. 2-1 Miami. RedHawks in the white uniforms. They go right to left, and Colorado College left to right in the black jerseys as we're underway in the third. Roberts has it in neutral ice and plays it across for Fisher Scott. He took a couple of penalties. Miami scored right after he got out of the box for his second. Giampa off the near side glass and out for Miami. And Coach Adelic with a steal tried to dance his way in front of the offensive zone, but toe dragged it too hard and lost possession of the far wall. Now Constance behind the net. Plays it D-to-D for Colton Roberts. He hands it off just inside the blue line where the clearing attempt by Vidson hit a RedHawk and popped straight up in the air. Trickles out to the neutral zone where Link takes it across the center red line and plays it into the Miami end. RedHawks break it out with speed, and Helgeson hands it along the far wall for David Deputy. He chops it into the offensive zone. Bouncing puck settled along the end wall and blasted along the near boards where Vidson gave it away looking for the breakout. Smith in the high slot sauces it to the far corner for Helgeson. And now it's Smith again getting the loose puck and saucing it up left point. A coin across for Phelan. Back for a coin left side. Rister goes wide off the glass and ricochets to Coring in the far circle. And he skates it all the way out to the neutral zone. Stick handles across the ice to the near wing and just softly taps it in. RedHawks got tangled up. Ryan Smith lost his stick as a result, and that allowed CC to hold it. And Stewart hit Smith up high with a shot. But Smith appears to be just fine as there's now another RedHawk stick that belongs to David Deputy flying along the ice. He picks it up, heads to the far side, and breaks the puck out for Miami as they go for a change. CC back in quickly. Sherman takes a deflected puck and brings it into the corner. Fanned on the feet in front. It finds Blaise Savoy behind the net, who goes up top for a shot by Mann from the center point. That's blockered away by Drobak. And now Phelan taps it against the end boards for McEwen for Miami, and he just backhands it shoulder high out to the neutral zone. CC back in as Stewart heads down the right side. Top of the circle, shoots one through. It took two deflections and in. There were no Tigers below the dots, and that shot just hit a RedHawk in the right circle and just came all the way across the net, hit off the post and went in. And that is as fortuitous of a bounce as you'll see. And Colorado College has rallied from 2 goals down to tie the game with 17:41 to go in the third period.
Well, I just talked about how everything was going Miami's way until that power play goal at the end of the second, and then that right there, I mean, that's the complete opposite of going your way. Just an absolute dagger to this RedHawk team.
Split by the intermission, but less than 3 minutes of game time separates the 2 goals. Riley Stewart gets credit for the goal, and again, that was just a weak wrister sent not even really in the direction of the net, and it just hit a RedHawk in the far circle, who again was not very close to the net, but somehow the puck rainbowed over top of Mateo Drobak, went off the post and went in. As now Bradley Walker skates it down the far side and draws a penalty for Miami as we're underway playing once again. Drobak off to the bench as Thompson shoots. That's blocked in front. Lukashevich runs it down in the far corner, keeps possession for Miami as David Deputy handles through traffic, gives it for Thompson on the near side. Across the way for Lukashevich. He dangles past one in the right circle, across for Deputy. He couldn't hang on to a one-time chance. Denari lifts his stick and touches up. And Deputy is kicking himself as he's just standing, feet planted exactly where that puck hit him for a potential one-timer. and he just could not pull the trigger. So instead, Colorado College touches up. But Miami does get their 4th power play out of the deal, as the penalty's on Mateo Mercic for, I believe, slashing, and so that sends Miami to the power play. It is indeed a slashing penalty on Mercic. Miami, again, officially 0 for 3, but on their latest power play, they scored right at its expiration, although this time around, Colorado College wins the faceoff, wraps the puck to the far side, and clears immediately. So brought back up the ice up the left alley by Delic, hands it off for Morozov. It went under his stick as Miami crossed into the offensive zone, and that allows Colorado College to clear. Played calmly, though, by Michael Quinn with Weinbergs in his face, and now Weinbergs backs off as the RedHawks regroup it. 2-2 hockey game thanks to 2 goals, separated by just about 3 minutes for the Tigers. First one on the power play. Miami just cannot get the puck through the neutral zone with possession, as it's Delic right now from his own defensive zone who walks it across the center ice. Emin just blew a tire. He still finds Deputy just inside the blue line, but now he's locked up. It's thrown across, and now Morozov has the puck in space and skates down the left wing, and he hands it up the boards for Giampa. Giampa skates it down into the corner, surveys the ice, finds Quinn left point. Across to the far side, it's Morozov into the circle, lost possession. And now the puck comes up to Quinn right point across for Delic. Delic waits, sauces it down low. Giampa backhanded in front through everybody. Quinn now finds Delic, left circle, shot save made. Deputy threw it back in front, and it nearly went through the legs of Mberico, whose stick goes flying. It's now behind the net as Colorado College takes it and the Tigers clear it out on the near side. 35 seconds remaining in the penalty, and Miami's best chance of the power play. Quinn skates it back up the ice, eyes up for the St. Louis native, and he hands it off on the right wing for Ryan Smith, who just lost it as he crossed the blue line, dangling through 3 black jerseys. It's cleared down again with 15 seconds remaining on the penalty to Mercic. Down the left wing goes Helgeson. He gets stripped of the puck. And again, a partial clear by Colorado College, and that's all they'll need to run the rest of the timeout on this penalty. 3 seconds, 2 and 1, and Mercic is out of the box right as Miami lifts it back into the CCN. Scott below the goal line, sends it along the kickboard to the far corner where Miami stuffs it. Helgeson trying to play it into the corner. Puck is dangerously played out in front to Mercic by Colorado College, but he guides it to safety back below the goal line, where now it's skated around the net by Fisher Scott. He steps left and throws it across for Brett Link. Puck is poke checked off his stick right as he got into the offensive zone, and now down the left wing goes Bradley Walker. He tips it by Constance, but he does well to shield him off, and Constance steals it away again as CC plays it forward, and Constance taps it back out to center. Now Coyne throws one on net from outside the offensive zone. That's sticked away easily by Mberico. Sent the length of the ice by Colorado College, but the puck off a couple of bounces lost all its momentum, and it's shy of icing. Miami back up the ice as Stuka got hauled down away from the puck, and that's another easy call for the referee. Miami dumps it in, and it's touched up by Philip Blaise Savoy. And the RedHawks are right back to the power play with 13:56 to go in the third period. Game is tied at 2, but just not sure what Connor Vidson was thinking there as he's pleading his case with the referee. Just got tangled up away from the puck and just tossed his man.
Another opportunity for the RedHawks now on a power play where they have just not been able to execute tonight. Had a lot of good opportunities that they just haven't taken advantage of and found the net. Obviously, they had that goal that was right at the end of the penalty kill, so I mean, if you count that one. But other than that, they've really struggled to get it in the net on the penalties.
This is Miami's 5th try on the power play tonight, and the RedHawks win the faceoff, and it comes up to Thompson at the point, who plays it down the wall, looking for Delic, but it got past him. Luckily, Deputy is there to shield it off from Roberts and keep it in the offensive zone. Felt like Miami was developing something towards the tail end of that last power play. We'll see if they can turn it into some offense. Giampa down in the post, tucks it in front for Deputy. He scores. Two-goal game, David Deputy. Miami has run that exact same play about 4 times on the power play tonight. Just finding Mateo Giampa on the near post, who just turns his back to the net front and throws it behind his back across the net. And finally it connects as he caught the puck with his stick blade facing the corner and just 180'd it in front to Deputy, who was untouched at the top of the blue paint. He beats Mbarico over his left shoulder, and Miami's back in front with the power play goal at the 13:36 mark of the third period as the RedHawks make it 3-2.
Immediately Stupka's stick breaks on the faceoff.
That allows a break the other way for Colorado College, and a good shot on net from a sharp angle there from Sherman, but the save was made by Mateo Drobak, and now Miami with a steal, and it's taken the other way by Lukashevich. Numbers for Miami if they go quick. Lukashevich hits the brakes, waits, and turns it in deep where Stupka works on it for Miami. Sent up the wall by Colorado College. Lukashevich does well to hold the zone. Stupka along the half boards, pushes it down where it's sent up the wall by CC, but Lukashevich holds the right point. Now it's thrown out in front from the corner by Bradley Walker, and that one slid all the way through, and it came to the near boards where it was just softly slid on net by Nick Mikan, and that's scooped up by Mbarico to cause a stoppage with 12:50 to go in the third period. And that brings us to a timeout on the ice. Relief for Miami. They take the lead once again. A 2-goal game for David Deputy as he matches his season goal total tonight with a couple of tallies on the board. Assist to Mateo Giampa and Coach Adelic on the power play at 6:24 of the third period, and the RedHawks are back in front. Now we have 12:50 left in the third. Miami remains in the lead at 3-2. We'll return to Cady Arena in a moment. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. $12:50 remains in the third period. Miami scores on the power play. A 2-goal game for David Deputy. And the RedHawks jump back in front at 3-2. After Miami saw a 2-0 lead vanish in an instant at the end of the second and early in the third. 12:50 to go in the final period of regulation. Miami's got an offensive zone face-off. Back in the lead. As the RedHawks send the second line right back out there. And it involves the goal scorer, David Deputy. CC, though, wins the faceoff and plays it off the glass and out. Driven back in by Miami's Kyle Aucoin. Nearly turned over in front of the CC net as Roberts plays it to the far side for Scott. Fanned on the initial clearing attempt and now gets it to Weinbergs through center. Aucoin plays it in for Miami. Taken down in the offensive zone by Helgeson. He now backhands one in front. He was looking for Ryan Smith, but it stopped short of him, and now Smith turns it over on the recovery attempt, and that allows Lindbergh to clear. CC regrouping in their own end. Shots 26-15 in favor of Miami. Colton Roberts just holding on to it behind his own net. Finally, Ilya Morozov follows him back there, and he emerges. Now through the middle of the ice, Bjork tried to race through, but he lost the puck in the process. It came all the way in on Drobak, and he paddles it out to neutral ice. Driven back in by Link. He gets hit softly in front of the Miami bench. Constance from the right point throws it across. Morozov caught it and then dropped it on his stick and chipped it out to center. He missed Delic, and now it goes down for icing. Constance took a bit of a circuitous route to it, but the icing upheld, and Miami will back into their own zone for a defensive draw here with 11:38 to go in the third period, leading at 3-2. Face-off taken to Drobach's right. York, Vincent, and Link out there for Colorado College. This line has scored one of their 2 goals. Miami wins the face-off, and it's lifted partway out by Owen Lalonde, but not very far into the neutral zone, brought right back in immediately, but Link has a stick lifted by Lalonde, and he now lifts it into the Miami bench where it is caught by, looks like Bradley Walker down there right in front of his head coach, Anthony Noreen. And so the face-off comes back into Miami's zone. I think they're not letting Miami change here, and Anthony Noreen is confused, and RedHawks should be permitted to change up, and it looks like Miami did at least sneak a partial change on there, but Anthony Noreen and the referee Nolan Bloyer had a long conversation during the whistle. Face-off stays in Miami's defensive zone. And it's controlled by Colorado College as it comes up to the left point where Blaise Savoy walks down the wall and shoots. Lalonde caught it on his stick in front, as a partial save was also made by Mateo Drobach. Delic now skates it out past center, chips it the rest of the way in, and Miami finishes out the change. Brought back behind the net by Philippe Blaise Savoy. Played for Anthony Noreen with the Tri-City Storm in the USHL. The San Jose native plays it along the far boards where it's kicked right back to him. Tried to lift it into the offensive end, but it was gloved down by Miami's Bradley Walker. He feeds Mikan, and he dumps it in. Mikan got hauled down away from the puck. RedHawks wanted a penalty, didn't get it, but they do win possession in the offensive zone. Lukashevich throws it into the corner, looking for Mikan, and it was deflected away. Alexander's clearing attempt stopped at the left point by Ryder Thompson. Puck comes up to the right point where Lukashevich shovels it down the wall. Walker goes in to work against Blaise Savoy in front of the Zamboni doors in the far corner. And now Walker just flips it in behind where Alexander comes onto it for Colorado College and fanned on the clearing attempt, and that allows Walker to hand it off looking for Nasson, but it got between his legs. Grabbed by the Tigers and cleared out to center. Knocked out of the air, though, by Lukashevich, and that allows Miami to hold on to possession. Nasson fakes the dump in and instead pulls it back as the RedHawks finish out a change. Stuka tips it into the offensive end for Miami, and Barrico comes out of his net to play it and feeds Constance in the far corner. He taps it along the wall for Coring, and now directed further along by Stewart out to neutral ice as we've crossed the halfway mark of the third period. Miami up 3-2 on Colorado College, the 19th ranked team in the land. Occupy Miami's spot in the polls as the RedHawks were 19th going into last week before the sweep against Denver. Miami just threw one on. That was Nasson from the far wall, kind of off his back foot, that sat in front of Barrico for a second, but he does cover up. And freezes with 9:41 remaining in the third period. Face-off coming up on the far side. And Miami brings out the top line. Morozov, Giampa, Delic out there for the RedHawks. Face-off win initially by Miami, but Giampa couldn't hold on to it for long, and it's skated out by Colorado College. Morozov, though, with a clean steal in the neutral zone, and he finds Delic to skate it down the right wing. Delic walks up the wall and now dishes it down low for Giampa. Up the boards it comes to a Coin, who just pushes it in deep once again. No RedHawks below the goal line, and that's just an easy grab and clear for Ryan Coring. And now the RedHawks give it away in the neutral zone. 3-on-2 for Colorado College. Lindbergh hands it back down, gets a return feed in front, dances to the near post, and a left pad save made by Drobach, and now a 3-on-2 coming for Miami. Gas body's out there, but it's Giampa down the right side. He finds Delic in the corner, and he's pushed all the way there, and then suplexed off a nice hit by Roberts. Puck goes skittering away, and it's Giampa from the NCHC logo behind the net that wraps it up the near boards for McEwen. McEwen to Lalonde on the far side, back for McEwen center point. Thought about the shot, now he just throws it into the corner where Helgeson tried to give one from a sharp angle on net. And he's stopped by Barrico. So they hit him right on the C in his jersey. Colorado College clears. Miami back in with speed. Deputy trying to dangle towards the front with Helgeson breaking towards the far post, but couldn't do so. Colorado College then gave it away on the break back up the ice, but Miami could not rush back in. Regrouped by the Tigers with 8:16 to play. They're trailing by 1, brought down the left side by Blaise Savoy. He's hit along the far wall as he banks it into the offensive zone. Bjork wins possession for the Tigers below the goal line, and now it's Bear from the right point who risks one on. It was headed wide. Drobak grabbed it anyway just to be safe and holds on with 8:02 to go in the third period. Still 3-2 Miami. Shots now 27-17 in favor of the RedHawks. And a defensive zone draw coming up to Drobak's left. Fourth line comes out for Miami against the second line for Colorado College, which includes a couple of draft picks for the Tigers. It's a Colorado College team that has their most draft picks they have this year on the roster in the last 20 years. Chris Mayo's done an excellent job with this program. CC wins the draw, and now we got a penalty coming up on the RedHawks as a shot comes in for the left point by Constance through traffic. It hits Drobak in the chest. And now a hooking penalty coming up for Miami that came right off the faceoff. And it's Ryder Thompson, it appears, that's headed off to sit for 2. Colorado College has got one opportunity on the power play. They scored on it. Made pretty quick work of it as they scored inside the first minute of their first power play. It's a hooking call against Ryder Thompson. And again, it sends Colorado College to their second power play of the game. A struggling power play, albeit, as we've highlighted before. But they are 1 for 1 tonight.
Yeah, executed on the first one and trying to go 2 for 2 now and get this thing tied back up with 7 minutes and 54 seconds left in the third.
Face off to the right of Mateo Drobak. Taking a long time to get the puck down. And now Matthew Heinen does not drop the puck.
Faceoffs have been interesting all night.
Taking a little while to get the puck down. Now the puck is dropped. CC wins the draw, and they move underway on their first power play, on their second power play, I should say, as it was a quick tic-tac-toe in front for Lazowski, who one-timed it off their first chance of the power play, and it's cleared down by Miami. Now threaded ahead off the bank play, looking on the end wall from the neutral zone. Lindbergh was trying to hit it off the end boards to Roberts in front, but Drobak was ready for it and paddled it to the end boards. Miami wins the battle and clears up the near wall. Rozov headed in hard off the forecheck for Miami. Causes CC a little bit of issue as Roberts just forced to back this up. He's currently standing still with the puck on his defensive blue line. And now feeds it up the far side for Bjork, who dangles through traffic and finds Weinbergs just inside the blue line on the right wing. Back up top, Roberts swings it across. Lazowski on the bumper one-timer, and he slid it wide. Saucer pass up for Roberts center point. He holds it in on the blue paint of the line. Roberts waits, hands it to the far side. Lukashevich cuts the pass off intended for Lindbergh. And he clears it down the ice with 50 seconds remaining on the power play. 6:40 to go, third period. It's 3-2 Colorado College, or 3-2 Miami rather, over Colorado College. As CC brings it back into the offensive zone, Constance has to hustle to the right point to get into a loose puck before it leaks out of the zone. Blaise Savoy then just turns it over cleanly as Coach Adelic skates it out to neutral ice and pokes it all the way down with 4 black jerseys collapsing on him. 20 seconds remaining in the minor penalty to Thompson. Constance down the right wing. Dumps it around the dasher. Blaise Savoy kind of adjusted his grip on his stick to knock it down, but he was unsuccessful, and Miami just gets the loose puck and clears it. 5 seconds remaining. That's going to do it for the power play as it's brought behind the net by Colorado College and Constance, and that's the end of the penalty. Ryder Thompson heads off as Sherman heads down the right wing with some speed, shoots, and that is wide into the corner. Now the puck comes back around the near wall where it's held in with a hustle play by Coring down below the goal line for Link. He spins one in front, tied up in Sherman's skates in front of the net. And now taken by Colorado College, thrown out in front for a chance. Link with a deflection in front, they score. It's Sherman off the initial shot by Link, who got to the loose puck, threw it on goal, It got through Drobak, but not into the net. And then Braden Sherman got in behind Miami's goaltender to finally just tuck it home. A greasy one, but they count all the same for CC, and they've rallied again to tie the game with 5:30 remaining in the third.
Unreal. You brought up the St. Cloud game earlier in the broadcast, and kind of feeling just like that one here tonight. I mean, RedHawks have continued to answer though, so see if they can answer here with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third.
And if you're Miami, you don't feel like you've played poorly at all on the defensive end of the puck in this game, but just a couple of bad breaks, and despite scoring now up to 3 goals, which looked unlikely with the way this game started as just a defensive slugfest, find yourself tied in the third. RedHawks bring it back ahead. Ethan Hay racing in on Iberico, and Constance upended him, and now Mikan goes in. Hay looks to be a little shaken up as the puck just rolled in on Iberico, and he held on. Hay is holding his face, kind of his neck, checking for blood as he may have caught a stick going through there, but now he's got some words for the Tigers on the way back through, and he's got to be a little careful as he grabs a fistful of the jersey of Riley Stewart right in the face of all 4 officials who are standing there. But regardless, that brings us to a timeout on the ice. Offensive zone draw coming up for Miami on the other side. But Braden Sherman off the assists initially to Ryan Alexander, and they will surely add another one to Brett Link, who should have the primary assist on that goal at the 14:30 mark of the third period. Has tied the game for the second time for Colorado College as they were down 2-0 and 3-2. And we are now level once again. 5:11 to go in the third period with the score tied at 3 here from Cady Arena between Miami and Colorado College. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. .5:11 to go in the third period. They have updated the scoring. Ryan Alexander and Brett Link get the assists for Colorado College on the Braden Sherman goal that has tied the game at 3. I mean, led 2-0 and 3-2, but now the RedHawks find themselves back even again in this hockey game. With 5:11 to play in the third. Offensive zone faceoff win by Ilya Morozov as the puck goes to Coach Adelik in the far corner. He's pinned along the wall by Roberts as the puck springs free behind the net, where it's brought back up the boards by Colorado College, and now Roberts skates it out to the neutral zone where Link gets hit hard by Thompson off a good defensive effort. The puck comes into Miami's end. Giampa had it hit off his stick. It comes right in front to Link, who shoots with a glove save made by Drobak, and now Delic tries to take a loose puck the other way, but it got by him and Scott. And Colorado College doubles back and finds Bjork, who transitions back into the offensive zone. Link now drags it bottom of the right circle, dances his way front of the net. Bjork drags it free and scores. In a flash, Colorado College has their first lead tonight. Second goal of the game for Wilson Bjork. And the Tigers make it 4-3 with 4:31 to go.
Some sloppy goals that have gone in for Colorado College, but not that one. That one was well done by Colorado. Now they take a lead for the first time, and with only 4.5 minutes to go in this one, Colorado looking to just hang on here inside Cady Arena.
Again, Miami probably feels great about probably 50 minutes of hockey that they've played, but just 2 massive blow-ups that the RedHawks have had. They allow 2 goals in about 3 minutes to tie the game at 2, and now they allow 2 goals in 59 seconds, and a 3-2 lead becomes a 4-3 deficit with 4.5 to play. RedHawks push it back into the offensive end coming off the restart. Bjork on the goal assist to Link and Fisher at 15:29 as Phelan runs the puck down back in Miami's end and coughs it up. Feinberg's now dances behind the net, but he's stripped of possession by Max Helgeson, who flutters it through the middle. And now a thread through traffic by Ryan Smith, looking for Deputy, who's on hat trick watch, just deflected by him and comes all the way in on Mberico, who covers up and holds on with 4:02 remaining in the third period. Shot still in favor of Miami, but the scoreboard does not favor them for the first time. It's 4-3 Colorado College with 4:02 remaining.
And these 2 goals for Colorado College coming after Miami's first penalty kill of the entire game as well, so it's almost inexcusable.
Thought that power play could be a turning point for Colorado College. Really got nothing done on that power play, but then flipped the switch right afterwards. Tigers win the draw and tip it into the offensive zone coming through neutral ice. Doug Grimes promptly breaks it out for Miami, but it's driven back into the RedHawk end where Miami's in on the regroup. Stuka walks it in, stays on side, as does Grimes as it's pushed into the offensive zone. Casper Nassen in the near corner. It's pushed along the wall by Sherman. And the puck is handed to Scott on the far boards, who knocks it down and clears it out. Puck was played with a hand pass by Miami, but then touched up by Colorado College right in front of their bench as Miami changes with 3:21 remaining in the third period. RedHawks still have their timeout. Crucially, Colorado College does not, as the Tigers play it back into the RedHawk end. Well, we'll check on Mateo Drobak and see how long Anthony Noreen elects to wait. A steal in the offensive end for Colorado College, but they can't hold the zone as the puck is swung around the boards to the near wing, and Coring had it just pop out of the blue line on him. Under 3 minutes to play with the Tigers up 1. Pass threaded forward for Brett Link. And he's taken off the puck as Nick Mikan couldn't dangle his way through center. Vincent down the right side, had it taken away, and now Bradley Walker skates it down the left side for the RedHawks, but loses possession as soon as he gets near the blue line. Just tipped back Miami's way by Colorado College. They are perfectly content to play the clear game here as Miami's dumping attempt nails Eric Frank, the linesman, and Colorado College pushes it back into the offensive end. 2:22 remaining in the third period. Miami will surely pull now at their first opportunity as Bradley Walker tips it into the offensive end. RedHawks, though, have everybody changing. Anthony Noreen has the stop sign up as they have no forecheckers and can't pull the goalie. And so Colorado College just tips it right back into the Miami end. This is playing right into the Tigers' hand as they are just killing all kinds of time right now. And Coach Adelik walks it down the right side, pulls it out of his skates, and sends a deflected puck up into the stands with 1:58 to go in the third period. This draw will come somewhere at neutral ice, either center or on Miami's offensive half of the red line, and it will be the latter. But Mateo Drobak's got to stay in his net for now. 1:58 remaining in the third period, and Anthony Noreen's going to call his timeout.
Colorado really killed the last 2.5 minutes with ease in this one, doing exactly what they need to do to try to secure a road victory on game 1 of this 2-game weekend series.
Troy Thibodeau has the whiteboard out on the Miami bench, drawing up a play. The RedHawks have Giampa, Lukashevich, Delic, Deputy, Morozov, and Thompson on the ice. That is 6 guys. Presumably one of them, likely Deputy, will come off for this draw, and it looks like Deputy's about to make his way off the ice, but you'd think, based off that he'll be the extra skater once Miami gets the goalie out. 1:58 remaining in the third period. And again, if you erase 5 combined minutes from this game, Miami is up 3-0, but that is just not how hockey is played, and the RedHawks with 2 just disastrous defensive sequences, each resulting in 2 Colorado College goals. And they find themselves down in this hockey game. So the RedHawks send out the 4 of the 5 we told you about earlier, but instead as one of the defensemen, they will send out Michael Quinn. Miami loses the neutral zone faceoff. It's taken by Colorado College, and Ryan Coring dumps it into the offensive end with 1:52 to play. Tigers pretty aggressive on the forecheck here, going below the goal line as Lukashevich pulls it free. And Mateo Drobak now follows him as Coach Adelic walks it through center. 6 skaters on for Miami as they enter the offensive zone on the right wing. Giampa, center point. Lukashevich almost gave it away, and now the puck is tipped up in the air by the RedHawks, and they can't touch it for the moment. Luckily, Colorado College just clears it up the far side and doesn't go at the empty net. Miami dumps it back into the offensive end with 1:23 to go in the third period. Deputy lost it, and now the puck takes a high carom off the glass and falls way short of icing, allowing the Tigers to clear. Picked up by Michael Quinn. David Deputy now circles and enters the offensive zone down the middle. Deputy swipes it into the near corner. And the RedHawks set up on the left point with 1:05 to go. It's Lukashevich across for Quinn. Now back for Lukashevich. On the left point, across for Michael Quinn. Into the right circle for Coach Adelic. Across for Lukashevich. He plays it down low. Giampa tried to force one in front on that same play the RedHawks scored on earlier, but he's stuffed. And now as we move under a minute to play, the RedHawks stay with it. Delic hands it off on the right point for Quinn. Walks into the circle. Down low, Moroza. Back up half wall for Quinn. Delic calls for it. Center point doesn't get it. Quinn goes back into the corner for Moroza with 35 seconds to go. Delic hands it off. Top of the right circle. Quinn plays it across. Giampa threw it across the net. And it is knocked down. And now the puck is cleared down the ice. It's rolling and it's icing against Colorado College. It looked like Quinn may have got a fingertip on that, trying to jump up and hold the zone. But the referees uphold the call, and they're pulling all the Tigers back to the bench as they try to change. 22.4 seconds remain. Miami had a golden chance there. And now the RedHawks have to send out their second 6-man unit with 22 seconds remaining, trailing by a goal. Miami's already used their timeout. Face-off elected to be taken on the near side of the ice by the RedHawks. It's Ethan Hay on the draw against Riley Stewart for Colorado College. Both teams pretty antsy, as you'd expect, off the face-off, and it is Riley Stewart kicked out of the face-off circle, I thought. Now he just comes right back in as Colorado College reshuffles. Puck is dropped. RedHawks win the draw cleanly. Thompson plays it down into the corner for Casper Nossen. 18 seconds to go. Thompson with a one-time drive from the center point. That's blocked. Helgeson along the far wall. Threw it out in front. Tip puck in front. They score! It was just thrown in front by Max Helgeson through his legs, and the puck just found Casper Nossen on the back door, who throws it in with 10.1 seconds remaining, and Miami has tied the game at 4.
It's the second line for the 6 that scores and finishes it for this team and gets us to a 4-4 game here with 10 seconds to go in the third. Unbelievable. This game has delivered constantly. The RedHawks have answered and answered and answered, and they answer once again with 10 seconds remaining. Unbelievable.
It is Casper Nossen. They give the assist to Hay and Smith. So we mentioned that puck deflected in front. It actually took a couple deflections on its way through. Miami wins the faceoff and tips it into the offensive zone, maybe going for one last effort here at the end of regulation. Walker came flying in to try and spin it in front. Couldn't do so. But this building gets a jolt of energy late, and bring out the ice scrapers. Free hockey coming up as Miami sends this game to overtime. The RedHawks, who twice led 2-0 and 3-2. Then a back-breaking 2-goal sequence for Colorado College in the span of 59 seconds. But the RedHawks come off the mat to tie it with 10 seconds to go. Casper Nossen comes up with the goal for Miami, his 4th of the year for the sophomore. Hay and Smith on the assists, and that sends the game to overtime here tonight in Oxford.
I mean, CC's got to be kicking themselves. 10 seconds remaining. They were doing such a good job of holding this RedHawk team off from tying it up. I mean, they were gifted a goal as well that got them within one, or excuse me, to tie it, and then they get a good goal to take the lead. And it looks like they're going to pull away with a victory, and the RedHawks, well, like they constantly answer. This team has answered and answered and answered throughout the entire night, and to do it another time to really get us some extra free hockey here in Cady Arena.
So again, 3-on-3 overtime, and if neither team scores, then the game will officially, for NPI purposes, go down as a tie for NCAA tournament implications. But then if neither team scores, we will go to a 3-round shootout for the extra point in the NCHC standings. Colorado College on the year 2-1-1 in overtime. They are 1-1-1 in NCHC play. Won their first decision against Northern Michigan in overtime, tied Arizona State in their second NCHC series of the year, and lost in a shootout. Fell to Denver in the Friday night game in overtime, and then most recently in their last NCHC game, dispatched of number 4 Minnesota Duluth 2-1 in overtime. For Miami, they have exercised their demons. Miami had been dreadful over the last handful of years in overtime, but this year the RedHawks have figured it out. Miami is 3-0 in overtime this year. Back-to-back wins against Lindenwood, and then a Friday night win against St. Cloud State by a 6-5 score. That's a game we've referenced a lot because it's felt a lot like this one. And crucially, Miami has always sent out Ethan Hay to take the opening draw, and Hay this year is 3 for 3 taking faceoffs to open overtime. Possession is vital in the 3-on-3, but Hay is going up against one of the nation's best faceoff men in Klaus Weinbergs to start the overtime period. Miami goes left to right. Colorado College goes right to left. Faceoff is controlled by Ethan Hay. He's done his job as he heads off. Now 4 for 4 on faceoffs to start overtime this year. Miami brings on Ilya Morozov for him, and he heads up the right wing with speed. The young Russian enters the offensive zone, plays it back for Lukashevich, who walks into the high slot. Doesn't like the look and hands it off for Giampa. Giampa heads around, dangles his way to the net front to the backhand. He's stuffed by Umberico off an excellent save. Now it's thrown back up top for Lukashevich, and a one-timer by Giampa is blocked wide. Morozov chases after it behind the net, but it's brought free by CC, and now Weinbergs heads down the left wing, enters the offensive zone. Weinbergs hits the brakes and throws it across for Brett Link, who tried to drag it between his legs. Coach Adelik shut him down, and he finds Ilya Morozov to head forward for Miami. Morozov enters the offensive zone on the left wing and just banks it all the way back down the ice the RedHawks way, where Ryder Thompson can chase it down. Minute into the sudden death overtime, we're tied at 4. Miami brings their second line out. It's Deputy with Delic and Thompson, and it's Delic down the left wing to enter the offensive zone. Swings it around the boards where Ryder Thompson just shovels it in deep. Deputy wins a puck battle for Miami. Link tries to pin him up against the near wall. Deputy tucks it in deep for Ryder Thompson. Thompson now has the puck stolen away by Bjork. Bjork backs up, he lifts it down the ice, and he's trying to hit his man and does it with speed. Bjork Savoy sends it high over the bar. Off the breakaway on just a flip play, got lost as Ryder Thompson was pinching for Miami. Anthony Doreen is signaling for all his guys to sit down on the bench. Miami wants to calm things down, but Philip Blaise Savoy nearly finished that one off for Colorado College. Smith skates across the center M and backs out. Doubling back towards his own end. Throws it across for Kyle Aucoin. Aucoin enters the offensive zone on the right wing. Curls and throws it to the middle for Ryan Smith. Smith spins and puts it through his legs. A nice dangle, but doesn't end up doing a lot for him as he's guided to the outside. Now goes through his legs in the far circle. Still not getting any space. Now he just drags and shoots. He scores! Ryan Smith in overtime wins it for Miami. The RedHawks are 4-0 in the extra period this year. And he was just dipsy-doodling, dangling all over the offensive zone. CC was not biting on anything. And much like that first goal scored by Max Helgeson, Smith just turned his hips toward the net and shot it. And again, like that goal, posted in for Ryan Smith, who picks up the game winner.
Ryan Smith, he took that one one-on-one, like you just said, and finishes the job for the RedHawks. They got on the board first with a one-on-one from Helgeson, and they end the game with a one-on-one from Ryan Smith, the sophomore, in his 51st game. A game winner for the RedHawks to take game 1 of this weekend series.
CC is challenging. And again, this is kind of a why not situation for Colorado College. You've got nothing to lose. If you lose this challenge, the game's over. If you win it, the game continues. Presumably looking at offside here. If this goal stands, it will be the second overtime winner for Ryan Smith this season after he scored to complete the hat trick on Saturday night against Lindenwood. But neither team has cleared off their bench just yet, as the referees are taking a look at this. And it looks like they may be searching for goalie interference, as there's a RedHawk on the front end of the blue paint. Again, I was going to say, it didn't look like Miami entered in offside, and you can see the refereeing crew down there. Sterling Egan and Nolan Bloyer are looking at a Miami player that was screening Cady right on the edge of the crease, and it looked like at the tail end of it, right as that shot was coming in, a Colorado College player came in to kind of tie the Miami player up, and the two may have bumped, and that may have caused Iberico to be impeded. However, the question is, did Colorado College cause that impeding? If that's the case, it's not goal interference, and the goal would stand. But if the RedHawk in front impeded Iberico on his own accord, then that would wave the goal off.
Anthony Noreen is heated on the bench right now. Gives a little bit of worry within this crowd with how upset he is.
And this is just one of those situations, I think you can understand why he's upset, because the challenge rules, you know, if you just want to face it up completely, are not perfect in college hockey. In the NHL, if you challenge a play and lose, it's a penalty. And in college, they kind of have a hybrid system where if you challenge once with your timeout, you lose the timeout. But if you challenge without a timeout and lose the challenge, it's a penalty. But what it leads to is situations like this where Colorado College has absolutely nothing to lose here, because hypothetically, if they lose the challenge, it wouldn't be a penalty. The game would just be over. And so, again, it's just a weird rule quirk. It is what it is, and Colorado College is the beneficiaries of it. And we saw this exact same thing, actually, by Brett Larson in St. Cloud the last time Miami was here at home in that Friday night game, as the Huskies had lost their timeout and then challenged the overtime winner, because again, why not? You have nothing to lose. The referees are taking a long look at this, and again, on one hand for Miami, that may be positive that this would be inconclusive. On the other hand, it is a little concerning that you almost never see a goalie interference in a 3-on-3 with so much time and space. There's a lot less mucking it up in front than you would typically see in 5-on-5 play. And so as a result, the fact that there's even a chance that you may have interfered with Iberico here is a little bit scary. And the officials have been taking quite a long look at this one to make sure they're getting it right.
And with the way this game's gone, you're going to believe anything. Whatever outcome it is in this one, you're going to believe it, because this one's just been an unreal game from start to finish, really, with all types of crazy goals, and now this to cap it all off.
Everybody's standing up. Those sitting around where we're at here at center ice are doing their best, craning their necks, trying to get a look at the monitor. Don Kidd is the replay man upstairs working with our officials tonight. And you can see the officials have Zoom capability, and it is close. I mean, Iberico, as you're taught as a goaltender, is right on top of that blue paint, trying to cut down the angle of the shooter. And there is a black jersey and a white jersey right in front of him. If the goal stands for Ryan Smith, it would be his 7th of the year. Or the transfer in from Quinnipiac. Again, played for Anthony Noreen in Tri-City. He's been a really nice addition to this Miami team. Again, half of those 6 goals came in his hat trick outburst headed into the night against Lindenwood. He's hoping he has his 7th. All right, headsets discarded. Time to get our call.
Hold your breaths.
And Sterling Egan will do the honors. They overturn it. Says the goaltender was unable to play his position, therefore it's no goal. So you heard it, it's goalie interference. Now you can call a penalty there, but there is no penalty called. It's just waved off. And so that keeps the game alive, and that moves the faceoff out of the offensive zone for Miami. 2:45 remains in the overtime period. And credit Chris Mayotte and the crew. They got it done on the CC bench.
Unreal.
So this game continues. Miami sends out Ethan Hay with Mateo Giampa and Vlad Lukashevich. And again, this is a situation after a long break that's almost a reset. So Hay is likely coming off the ice here if he wins the faceoff, and Ilya Morozov will hop over the boards. But again, got to win the draw here. And again, he's working against Klaus Weinberg, CC's top faceoff man. Faceoff comes just outside the blue line. Anthony Noreen is still just pleading with the referee, and now gets the confirmation. I think about the faceoff location, and when you commit goal interference, the faceoff comes out of the zone, and that's where it is on the near side of the ice. Faceoff is sent to the near boards where it's picked up by Colorado College and Fisher Scott. Scott now surveys the ice. We're about to cross the halfway mark of the overtime. Scott feeds it to the far wing. Link with a stepper on the far side, but he mishandles the puck, working against Ethan Hay. Now Link heads around the net. Mishandles it again, lost it out of the zone dangerously. Had Hay been a little bit more on him, he may have given that up for a breakaway. Weinberg's back in on the left wing for Colorado College. Lukashevich prodding away at him, and Weinberg's just escapes the zone and heads back out to neutral ice. Both teams make one change, and now a second. As Miami's got Delic with Morozov and Thompson. It's brought back up the ice, though, with possession by Coring. He drags and shoots from the center slot. It's knocked down by Drobak, and now cleared out to center ice by Colorado College. It's kicked on a Morozov stick. He works in alone. Backhander just wide. Morozov now tracks the puck in the corner. He's working 1 against 2, sauces it up to the point for Ryder Thompson. It went through his legs, but he can get back to it first. With 1:35 to go in overtime, he feeds Delic, who enters the offensive zone. Delic handles it through, hands it off for Ryder Thompson just inside the offensive blue. Thompson skates it out of the offensive zone with 1:22 to go in overtime. Morozov down the right wing, enters the offensive zone. Morozov with a burst of speed, trying to muscle his way in front. He's sent behind the goal. Now Delic fans on a one-timer coming off of Morozov's feed at the center point. Delic still with it, cuts to the middle, feeds behind the back. Morozov tried to throw it out in front. It's blocked right back to him by Coring. Now it's Kyle LeCoyne, center point for Miami. He doubles back on it as we're under a minute to play in overtime. Kyle LeCoyne backs out. He finds David Deputy, who goes through traffic for Miami. Deputy down the right wing. It's poked off his stick by Coring, who goes flying into the boards. Deputy now in the near corner. He's stripped cleanly by Bjork. And a good job by CC to win possession back. As the Tigers clear it up the near wall, Helgeson just throws it across, and now Coyne chases it down for Miami with 30 seconds to go in overtime. Up ahead, Helgeson down the right wing for Miami. He spins just inside the blue line. Helgeson finds Lukashevich laying down the left side. He shoots high and wide. And now maybe a break the other way for Colorado College as it goes down the middle. Link with it on his stick. Lukashevich lifts his stick and the puck trickles wide. 10 seconds to go in overtime. Lukashevich still on it in the corner with 8 seconds, 7 seconds to go. Link nearly had a takeaway. Helgeson chases it down in the corner, pokes it up the boards, and that's it for overtime as time runs out. So another spirited 5 minutes. Bit of a backbreaker for Miami, as again, if you're not familiar with the rules of college hockey, this now goes down in terms of the national rankings for the NCAA tournament as a tie for Miami, as they kind of have the win snatched away from them by review. But again, the right call was made, and that sends things to a shootout. And so now we will go to the extra period, and this determines who gets the extra point in NCHC play. So for Miami and Colorado College, 3 points possible in each NCHC game for the conference standings. They'll now share 1 point each, and we will head to a 3-round shootout where the winner takes the extra point. For Miami, they have not played a shootout game since last year. They lost their last shootout on March 1st, their last road series of the year on Saturday night against Minnesota Duluth. Again, hard to compare with as many newcomers as this Miami team has had, but for the RedHawks, that was one of 3 shootout games they played last season. The other 2 came on opening weekend. They lost them both against Ferris State. For Colorado College, this is their 2nd shootout of the season, as the Tigers lost their only shootout in 2 rounds, missing on both and getting scored on twice against the Arizona State Sun Devils. Chris Mayotte sends Brett Link over the boards, who will go left to right to begin the shootout against Mateo Drobak. Again, Link, their top goal scorer in his career, swings in for the left side, fakes, waits to the backhand. He's stuffed by Drobak. Top of the first, and Colorado College gets blanked as Mateo Drobak makes the save. And now over the boards comes Kocha-Delic for Miami, the freshman out of the Ontario Hockey League, who makes his first shootout attempt as a RedHawk. Delic picks it up on the center circle and swings out to the right side. The left-handed shot enters the right circle, waits to the backhand, glove save by Mberico.
Mberico flashing why he's one of the best in all of college hockey.
One of the most experienced goaltenders in the entire country. 2 very similar looking moves there. We just kind of wait for the goalie to make a mistake, and neither did. Now Wilson Bjork, already a couple goals today for Colorado College. Heads out to the right side, now to the middle, to the backhand, he shot it wide. He went out right, went to the middle, and then had a hard cut to the right post, caught Drobak stumbling a little bit as he fell to his right with his legs not under him. But Bjork, who may have shot that into the stick of Drobak, just couldn't quite direct it on frame and threw it wide. So now it's Mateo Giampa for Miami. He goes down the left side. The right-handed shot works to the middle, shoots, and it's tipped wide. May have grazed the outside of the post there, but Mberico definitely got a piece. And we are scoreless as we go to the top of the 3rd. Gavin Lindberg, 11 goals in his career, comes out for Colorado College. The sophomore from Moorhead, Minnesota, does not take nearly as far a run-up as everybody else, and he just grabs the puck and goes with speed down the left side. Lindberg to the backhand, no goal. Drobak got him with the blocker, and now Miami can win it. Should they score the shootout's only goal in the bottom of the 3rd? And it's Ilya Morozov coming out for the RedHawks. The youngest player in the nation out for Miami, the 17-year-old from Russia with the game on his stick. Morozov out to the right side, slowing up, just one hand on his stick, now a second, works his way in. Now speeds up, Morozov to the backhand, he scores! The freshman phenom, this kid is just sensational. Ilya Morozov continues to dazzle RedHawk fans. They got to their feet because many of them may have known when he came out, he was ready to call game, and Miami wins it 5-4 in the shootout here on Friday night to take the extra point in the NCHC standings. The RedHawks, who again led twice, but grit out a comeback, scoring with 10 seconds remaining in regulation to tie the game. Thought they had to win in overtime, but at the very least snagged the extra point in the shootout. And Miami takes the Friday night victory over Colorado College by a score of 5-4.
Well, a roller coaster of a game here on a Friday night of game 1 against Colorado College. And the best part is they get to play again tomorrow, Luke, because an instant classic really here right in front of our eyes. The students that stayed back and stayed for this game, just they're pleased and some more. I mean, just speechless with how this game went. Obviously, a really roller coaster of a game where Miami felt like they won the game, and then it went to review, and all these things change, and all of a sudden we're in a shootout, and it's this freshman phenom, Ilya Morozov, who just calls game, and everyone knew it.
Ilya Morozov, picks up the shootout goal for Miami to win it, the only goal of the shootout. The RedHawks victors on Friday night by a score of 5-4. Miami now 4-2-1 inside this building, and wow, the games we've been treated to here at home this year have been next level. Every single one of them has been competitive. Every single one of them has been gritted down to the bitter end. Miami has been on the other side of that a couple of times this year. Think the Ferris State game where they led late and had that lead erased before eventually pulling away. And then, of course, the St. Cloud State game that we talked about where they blew a late lead before eventually winning it. This time, Miami is on the right side, coming from behind to tie it and eventually winning it in the shootout.
No ranked opponent wants to come in to Coach Cady Arena this year because there's an energy within this building and a feel around this team. It's a new team, it's a young team, but it's a team that's so exciting and brings so much energy within Oxford. And Oxford, you're being treated with some amazing games this season in hockey. It's back here at Miami.
Certainly so, and these teams will meet again tomorrow night at 6:05. No pregame tomorrow night, just game coverage for you starting with puck drop at 6:05 p.m. on night 2 between Colorado College and Miami. This game really delivered on it all. It was a slow start, but it was a mad dash to the finish line once these teams got going. They share points in the NCHC, but Miami grabs 2 here tonight as they beat Colorado College by a final score of 5-4. Again, make sure to tune in tomorrow night. Additionally, after the break, Will Salzarulo has your Red Hawk Radio postgame. That's all coming up when we return. Miami wins it in the shootout. Thanks so much for tuning in to tonight's edition of Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. We'll see you next time.
You're listening to Miami Hockey on RedHawk Radio, and wow, what a game that was. First time the RedHawks has gone into a shootout for the first time in over a year. The third period was absolutely insane with 5 goals being scored, and this is how it happened. Colorado tied it early in the period with 2-2, leading it to 2-2. Goal by Riley Stewart. Miami answered the call and had it leading middle of the third, 3-2. It was a power play goal by David Deputy. Sorry, I'm just super excited. Colorado tied it again, 3-3 with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in regulation. It's a goal by Braden Sherman. Colorado took the lead yet again with 4:31 to go. Goal by Wilson Bjork. Miami got a goal with 10 seconds left, sending it into overtime. Goal by Casper Nassen. Miami got a goal, but was waived in overtime for goaltender interference. Then it went to a shootout, which is the first shootout of the season. The shootout, game-winning goal was by the youngest player in the NCAA, Miami's very own Ilya Morozov. He won it in his first shootout as a Red Hawk and his first shootout in his college career. Miami has outshot Colorado 31-23, which is pretty surprising considering Colorado is ranked 6th when it comes to shots on goal in the NCAA. Here's an overview of the goals throughout all the periods. Miami led it in the first period 1-0. Miami also led it again 2-1 in the third 4-4, which led to it going to overtime, then a shootout 5-4 is the final score. Miami's record going in with this first tie. It's considered a tie in the NCAA if it goes outside of overtime. However, for NCHC ranked, it goes into a shootout. So technically, Miami's overall score is 10-6-1, and that is the final score for Miami. Matchups in the NCHC, Denver number 6 at St. Cloud, absolutely demolishing St. Cloud with a 4-0 in favor of Denver. Omaha, North Dakota, number 4, has not started yet, so no goals on the board. Arizona State and Minnesota Duluth, number 5th team in the NCAA, 1-2 in favor of Minnesota Duluth. I've been Will Salzarulo, and tomorrow you'll hear from me doing play-by-play for the first time. Hopefully, I do a pretty good job. I hope so. This has been Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.